Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, Tyvis Powell, Jason Lloyd. Plus, ba-da-da-da-da, you're loving him, Mikey McNuggets. And so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show starts now. Booyah!
Hey, here we are.
Hey! Ladies and gentlemen, we give to you the Black Richard Simmons.
See, that's funny. I said he looked like he should be wrestling with Hulk Hogan right now.
It's a look.
He looked like he got the Dipset Joel Santana bandana on. That's really what it is.
G is really changing up the look. It's almost like he's searching for a lane, but he's got every lane covered.
Well, it's one of those things. You know how, when you go to, how when NBA and NFL players do the walk up and they get the camera. Yeah. Well, that's G. Bush.
That's it.
Right.
Every episode, he wants y'all to see how he dressed, how he fit.
Every week, had a different style fit, and
true.
He was like off the charts with it.
Yeah.
But G. Bush is kind of our version of Cam Newton.
Yeah, man, what you got to do, man, you got to understand, man, you got to really, this is what diversity makes this show go. You never know what you're going to hear. We might argue something. You may never know what you're going to see. This is why this show is great.
I love it. It's a good look.
You dress like one of them African dudes that came to the U.S. and they go to the store and they just get a fit. That's what this look like right now.
Did you just say I bought this fit blindly? That's in translation.
I like it.
I thought it was fire. I accentuated and accessorized.
Did mom pick that or did you? Because you were mom style.
Nah, I went to the store. This was like, you know what I'm saying? This was one. I think this was one of them outfits. I was like, no, I'm going to get this. I'm not going to tell my wife, though.
Especially if she asks how much it was.
Oh, yeah, we're not going to do that.
Like that. Not talking that.
Yeah, look at that look.
Good to have Tyvis back in the house.
We got the shoe chain, by the way.
That's
I saw that. That is fire.
We got the black toe ones on the chain.
And you know what I can't wait for? At the end of the show, when we do our reads from our viewers, they never disappoint.
Oh, yeah.
They going to fire him up.
So what we got?
They going to fire him up.
Crocodile Dundee when he had the hat.
Chat, come on.
G is the sixth member of the Village People.
That's the first one you see.
I'm telling you, you know how they do at the end of the Jerry Springer show where they do the rank session? That you about to get fired up at the end of this show.
Come on, chat. Get your best stuff out. I know y'all got it. I know you got it. I need this inclusion. What we doing here? I thought it was fire.
Let's get it. Big show today. Browns made a coaching move. They might be about to lose a very important piece to their assistant coaching tree. Tyvis is going to talk to us about the importance of an assistant coach or a position coach. So I'm really interested to hear what he has to say to that. A lot to get to in today's show, including the Cavs won again last night. They've won 8 games in a row. They continue to do it with the 4 shooters in the big. Jared Allen, 12 straight double-double. That's obviously a club record. Is it real? Is it fool's gold? We may find out.
We got Steph Curry down.
Yes.
Whoa.
He called him Sam Merrill. Steph Curry on the phone call.
I called him a lighter version of Steph Curry.
Well, I tweeted out that Sam Merrill is who we thought Max Strus was going to be.
I agree with that. No, I didn't see it.
He's been great.
No, Max Strus is cool, but when you thought about getting a shooter, I thought that what Sam Merrill's doing is the type of numbers that I thought Max Strus was going to have.
By the way, McNuggets, I just want to do my victory lap. We're Jason Lloyd. Let me look at the camera. Jason Lloyd.
Oh, true.
This is why you watch Summer League. Remember? This is what Craig Porter Jr. getting minutes, massive minutes. No one on his team's gonna touch the floor, G. No one. No one's gonna be there.
And you like Sam Merrill right away.
Love Sam Merrill.
Who would have guessed that Amani Bates is the most useless of the 3
Oh, come on, man. You're going to
punch
was mean.
That was pretty messed up.
It's true, though. I mean, it's a fact.
It's true.
He's just trying to
messed up to say.
He want to be down there developing. He's trying to develop.
Leave the boy alone while he's growing.
He didn't want G. Bush to ride off in the sunset. He threw one right at his head. Boom! Knocked him off.
He grabbed my magic carpet like, hold on, Aladdin.
Yeah, come on back. Come on back.
By the way, hold
on.
I did speak to Joe. I did an interview with Joe Flacco.
Oh, how'd it go?
It went very well.
Good.
I did not specifically ask him though I screwed up. I didn't specifically ask him, will you only come back as a starter? He said he did say 100% going to play next year.
Yeah. Okay.
100%. The interview will be out tomorrow. We'll have some clips on UCSS tomorrow before it comes out.
Good. Excellent.
And but the interview will be out tomorrow.
Anything you can tickle us with now? Was there a bombshell? Anything that made you say,
I would say nothing that was a bombshell, but there were 4 or 5 things that were extremely interesting.
Nice.
His thoughts on, I asked him specifically with play action passes, does it matter if the teams can run well? His answer to that was interesting. I asked him about Deshaun Watson's ability to play in this system. He had an interesting answer.
Oh, wow.
I asked him about, would it be weird if he came back and some of the players thought he should play over Deshaun? I asked him about that.
I saw he did another interview with the Browns, I guess, podcast yesterday.
That was part of my take from last week.
And I have to say, I think. They were just repurposing
they just used
that.
it.
Yeah, they used it.
Could he be more likable?
He was great. In fact, when we record these interviews, we use a thing called Restream. Probably G knows it. You know Restream, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, when the interview's over, I was like, Joe, do me a favor when the interview's over, just stick around a couple of seconds because we got to save it before you hang up.
Right.
And he was like, no problem. And I was only planning on talking to him for 15 minutes, but he was laughing a lot because I threw in a few silly questions.
Sure.
You know, and he seemed to be having fun, and I could get a sense if somebody's looking to go. So I kept him longer, and at the end, I said, Joe, I apologize. I ended up keeping him 30 minutes, and I said,
wow.
I apologize if this was too long. I didn't mean to take advantage of your time. He was like, no, it was awesome.
He's got nothing on his plate now.
He couldn't have been nicer.
Good.
But this guy, 100% wants to play next year.
Did you ask him, is he rooting for Baltimore in the playoffs?
That's another good
question.
I actually didn't ask him that.
That's a good question.
I asked him like 12, 15 questions. I couldn't,
My guess is he would say
him.
yes. Of the 4 teams that are left, he's got the closest tie to Baltimore.
Yeah.
Some people get done?
I asked him about the Wyatt Teller story. There's a lot of good stuff in there.
Did you offer him the 2-year deal that I sent you?
They replaced him with
I
an
did
MVP.
not offer him a 2-year deal, but he really, really appreciated how the fans embraced him.
Yeah,
it meant a lot to him, and you'll hear all of this. There's some really good stuff in there.
That's great. I'm looking forward to seeing the clips that we bring on the show, but also seeing the entire interview on your podcast. Plug where fans can get that and when you'll see it.
On YouTube, The Bullpen with Adam the Bull.
And that's going to be up tomorrow.
It'll be up tomorrow.
There you go. All right. Very, very good. Good morning, McNuggets.
What's up, guys? Big show, Jay. Glad you got in through the ice, and hopefully everyone who's driving around is safe on the ice this morning as well. The roads are definitely slippery. Big show, and we're going to hop right into it, starting with Tommy Rees after a quick word from FanDuel. The NFL regular season is wrapped up, but there's still plenty of time to get in on the playoff action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. And right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed just by placing a $5 bet. That's $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. And the best part about FanDuel is that it's simple and easy to use, and there are so many different ways to gamble, including live same-game parlays. You can find bets in the new Explorer tab. You can make a parlay in the Parlay Hub, which is the best and easiest way to find popular parlays, and so much more. So visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to make your first bet a layup. FanDuel, an official partner of the NFL, an official partner of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. And check out this winning ticket. This is Earl's friend who sent it in. This person made a live same-game parlay at halftime.
Oh, damn.
Of the first game, turned $13 into $2,500.
Oh, my God.
$13 into $2,492.47. The legs of this parlay were too long to put on 4 slides, so we just showed you the winning ticket. Or what did you say? It was a 23-part parlay that he hit?
Oh, my.
23-part parlay.
Oh, he deserves
$23,000.
$13.
$13 he put the bet in at halftime, so it's a live bet. What you can do on FanDuel, the live same-game parlays are awesome.
He definitely called
$13 to $2,500.
Oh, yeah.
If you have a winning ticket, we got
Definitely
another monster one tomorrow. Make sure you send it our way, and we'll
crazy.
feature it
I've got
on
a question
the
because
show.
I'm not a bettor. That's a bet you can make while the game is in progress.
Yep,
Oh,
you
yeah,
can
you
bet
can do
at
anything.
any point of the game
So
on FanDuel.
if I bet, I think that's the way I would do it because not that it always carries over from the first half to the second half, but at least you get a sense.
You get a feel for what's
of
going on.
how things are going.
yeah, they adjust the lines, though, so like
I'm sure they do.
yeah,
Right.
Amari Cooper,
But
when
to
they
hit 23, how many?
That's crazy.
23
That
absurd.
should have paid $24,000.
But they only bet $13, so there's like no risk.
Hey,
Because it's $13.
That's the
And
point.
you've got a huge reward.
You know what? I'm going to change my strategy.
Yeah.
See,
Halftime bets?
it looks like he was taking little safe. Like, I'm going to take Jamar Gibbs for over 40 yards. I'm going to take, Amon St. Brown. Listen, I'm going to take him for
I wish I could
60
bet on the
yards.
NFL,
and then,
man.
boom. My wife's still mad, by the way.
Oh, by losing her
This
phone.
was
Oh,
Earl's
well,
friend.
hot.
Let me chime in real quick.
By the way, have you guys all seen the movie The Sandlot?
Yes.
Oh, it's one of my
you
favorite movies.
serious?
Of course. Yeah.
You never know. Most of these guys have not seen Gone in 60 Seconds, which is a great
Is
movie.
anybody behind the glass not seen Sandlot?
I bet
I've seen
Anthony hasn't.
Earl, have you seen
Steve
Sandlot?
Steve
Yeah,
has
we've all
not.
seen- Director Steve, but obviously director.
I-
That's why I say
you're killing me,
Steve has
Smalls.
not.
I feel
Most
like,
obvious answer of 2024. Steve has
do you
no
remember,
idea what the Sandlot is.
Remember when the main kid in there, like the first time he meets Benny, he's wearing that like dopey fishing hat?
Yes, and he told him to put it in his
kind of
purse.
looks like Mike in that hat he's wearing today. Something about
Yeah, sloppy.
Bad hair day. Bad hair day.
that tan hat, like the bill looks
That
really
is-
big.
Mike looks like a trust fund baby that he don't want nobody to know he got bread. He just dressed like that. Don't ask me
I'll
for
take
nothing.
that.
You ain't
I'll
borrowing
take
no
that.
money.
I'll take the
By the way, speaking of FanDuel, you know your son sent me a bet yesterday?
Did he?
He was close to hitting it, too. He said, this is guaranteed to hit. Just play it.
Was NBA?
Yeah,
He loves the NBA.
I said I got 5 on it, and I think he missed it by 1 or 2 legs. It was close. It was close. The only reason it didn't hit is because the Cavs was blowing them out, and Donovan Mitchell hit the bench. So
I don't like
so
that.
his over was over 25?
yeah, all right, yeah.
'Cause I think he finished with
So,
25.
yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Oh.
I was
can
like,
hear Corey now.
Corey, you own to something
Hey,
now.
by the way, a quick shout out to my son. You know, he's doing big things at Rutgers. Rutgers was never a linear jump school until he went there. He was the first All-American. He did it 4 times.
Yeah.
Since he left Rutgers, there have been, counting women, 5 All-Americans. He's coached every one of them.
Really?
And there was a huge meet in Boston on Saturday. Had all the big guns up. Texas, Florida, the big schools. He won the men's and he won the women's.
Corey.
Wow.
All right, Corey.
He is flat killing it.
And Jay immediately grabbed his contract and rewrote it and said,
No,
"Hey,
you
turn
know
that
what?
in."
It's interesting you said that because his girl, who is also, she's still training for the 24 Olympics. She just missed as well in 2021. She just gained admittance, shout out to Maddie, to Rutgers PA school. She wants to be a physician's assistant.
Okay.
And she got accepted at USC. She got accepted at some really difficult schools to get into.
Yeah.
She's brilliant. 4.0, never got a B in her life. She's now I don't want to say stuck at Rutgers for the next 2 years, but she'll be there for the next 2 years. So likely Corey is not going to accept the job to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Because she went to Rutgers PA school instead of
Right.
going to her alma mater USC because they wanted to be together.
I thought you said
That's awesome for Corey.
congratulations. I thought you was going to say, I got another one on the way.
No.
By the way, has she taken my advice and tried the bagel with cream cheese and sardines?
You know, I don't know, but I'll ask her.
You
if
got to
she
ask
has.
her that.
What did you say?
Yeah.
This is a wild
It's a
bull
big
thing.
bull
Yeah,
thing.
let's-
Yeah.
Bacon and sardines?
No, bagel. Bagel.
With cream cheese and
All right, let's
sardines.
dive in.
Yeah, so
Fantastic.
Jay, you mentioned potential moving jobs. Corey's going to stay put at Rutgers. Congratulations.
Yes.
Someone not staying put at their current job is Tommy Rees, who Kevin Stefanski handplucked from the Alabama staff to become the new Browns tight ends coach. He's 31 years old, called plays at Alabama as their offensive coordinator last year, called plays in 2022 at Notre Dame under Marcus Freeman. Brian Kelly, when he left Notre Dame and went to LSU, wanted Tommy Rees to follow him to Baton Rouge, but Marcus Freeman gave him a giant raise to stay in South Bend. This guy's a rising star in the coaching ranks, just
He is.
31 years old, and now he's a position coach for the Cleveland Browns. What are the overall thoughts from the panel on Cleveland plucking Tommy Rees to be their new tight ends coach?
Guys, you guys that pay attention to college football more than I do would know the answer. My first reaction was, oh, this sounds like a great hire. So I tweeted, oh, sounds like a great hire.
Right.
There were a couple of people that responded to me and said, Notre Dame's offense under him stunk, and Alabama had the worst passing offense they've had in years last year. So I was like, well, I don't know. What do you? If he is an up-and-comer, what is that true, what these people said to me? And if so, why do we not blame him for it?
Real quick, I don't think there's a single coach or fan in the country who likes their team's play caller. Point in case Cleveland.
Well, yeah,
I mean, at Notre Dame, he was okay. I mean, they ran a pro-style offense or traditional, type of offense. So I guess that's probably why. I mean, and then on
What
top
about
of
in Alabama this year?
Alabama, they ran the spread because they had the quarterback.
They have what they have.
Yeah, they got the quarterback.
Yeah.
That's what they do. So, I mean, for him to come to the NFL, first of all, he gets a ton of respect in the college ranks. A lot of people respect him.
That is true.
Yeah.
So that's a fact. Now, him becoming a tight ends coach, the thing that, so as a player, you know, because I would go through this, you know, you would look at your position coach. Typically, your position coach in the NFL is a guy that really didn't play your position, which is wild.
Yeah, no.
Like for me, as a black dude, it'd be like, this white guy's going to tell me how to play corner. Like, what are we talking about? But that's just how it is.
Yeah.
And the thing that gets you to respect your coach is the knowledge that he has. If he tells you some stuff, you're like, man, I never thought about it like that. And he makes you better, you'll have the respect.
Right.
And, you know, obviously, I don't think he played tight end in his career.
No, he was a quarterback at
Right.
Notre Dame.
And I was about to say, I remember. It's crazy. I'm getting old. I remember when he was playing.
But it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, it was crazy.
That's why we remember him.
Yeah, so I think that for him, he's going to have to – the challenge is going to be you're going to get in the room with David Njoku and maybe Harrison Bryant. You gotta show these guys some things that they don't know. You know, how can they elevate their game? You'll look at their tape and say, this is some things that you can do better. And they'll look at it and be like, huh. And then you show them clips of showing them how they can get better, show them teach tape and stuff like that. And that's when guys will respect you. I think he'll do a great job. What I do think the asset that he brings is that since he's run, you know, kind of a pro-style offense, coming in there and being in those meetings with Kevin Stefanski as they're game planning, now you get another guy that's called plays before.
Sure.
So now you got another play caller in there with another play caller.
that.
Now
I
you
like
can
that.
mix your things. Maybe he might see some things or know some things that Kevin Stefanski didn't look at.
And
so
Kevin
it'll make
seems to
I
do
like
it
that.
by committee.
Right,
that's
so
good.
it will make it better. I mean, you got to replace AVP. What better way to replace AVP with a guy who also called plays? You also still going to get another offensive coordinator in there. So I think it's just mixing a bunch of worlds to make, you know, this offense better. Besides all of that, he just played in a spread type offense. Deshaun Watson likes to operate out of the spread.
Sure.
Maybe he knows some things that's going to make him better in shotgun.
And he can bring some college concepts to the pros that may be
Right.
not there. Like right now, there's a lot of things that they do in college football to get guys open, and people in the league say you can't do that because, you know, hey, it's college. No one's going to let you get that off. But there's a lot of things that trickle down from college to the pros now because those guys are the top picks. Like, you want to get a guy comfortable, run some of the stuff that they do before.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking at it like this, but I'm just reading the tea leaves. It's just me. I feel like they're trying to level up everywhere, like you said. If I can get a coordinator quality type coach to go to an entry level position
Mm-hmm.
at tight end, that means, okay, that's an upgrade. Now, let me see what I can do with this coordinator. And now if you get a big name coordinator, now you got a difference of philosophy, and you got a bunch of guys mixing some of these things up to help come up with this playbook. Because to me, all these hires, all they mean is how many ingredients can we throw in here to make the best offense? It's something.
What are you
creative.
contributing to the overall
Yeah.
big picture?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Not-
I do think
yeah.
it's a group effort on offense.
Yeah.
Because Jason has said that Stefanski has zero ego, and that lends itself well to having guys like this in the room and say, "Hey, coach, I've got something for you. Let's kick the tires on this." On the schemes from college transferring to the NFL, Tyvis, you can speak to this. I think there are some things you can bring from college to the NFL. I think most of those have already been brought over. I've talked to guys about that very thing, transferring schemes and things you do in college to the NFL. What they always say is, it worked in college because there were 3 really good athletes on the opposing defense. If you were playing in Alabama, Ohio State, and Michigan, there were 5. In the NFL, there's 11.
Well,
So a lot of that stuff may not transfer. I think what they did here, and I like this, I think this is a smart move by Haslam's, or whoever pulled the trigger on this, probably Andrew Berry. He fits the bracket, the peg of what is hot right now in the coaching circles in the NFL. He's a young offensive mind with pedigree.
Yeah.
His father was an assistant coach for the Browns.
Front
Jim
office-
Donovan told
front
a
office
great
guy.
story yesterday on the 5 o'clock show with me. He said he remembers meeting Tommy Rees when he was a young boy, when his dad was an assistant with the Browns. He had him on the field, and they were very excited because the next week they were going to watch the Michigan-Notre Dame game. And Jimmy said to him, "Oh, you're going to see Michigan, huh?" And he goes, "Oh, no, I'm going to see Notre Dame." Now, the young man grew up and became a quarterback at Notre Dame. So I think it's probably his lifelong goal. He achieved it. I love that about him. You know, I love that he had a big dream as a young guy, and he went out and he caught it. But at the end of the day, I said this yesterday, and I'll say it again about this. We just saw a talented tight end for the Cleveland Browns who for every year the adjective used to describe him was potential. We just saw that tight end unlock that potential, and they fired the coach. So what are we expecting?
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, and I don't mean to minimize these positions. I don't. I know they do a lot more. But if you're going to reward a coach, you should reward a coach when one of his group has a career year. The Browns fired that coach.
Yeah.
So how much
It's weird.
input
Who
does
knows?
the coach really have? I don't know.
I do think maybe, you know, you talk about bringing some things from college. The fact that he has been immersed in college football the last few years, unlike most of the coaches in the NFL, and certainly most of the coaches on the Browns, that's a perspective of some of the younger players around the league, not just on the Browns, that he may bring to the table that some of the other coaches don't have.
Good point.
How much is Kevin Stefanski paying attention to college football? He can't. He shouldn't. But Tommy Rees has been locked in on it. One other thing, too, I know he received some criticism for the final play of the national championship, not the national championship.
Ohio State.
The
No,
semifinal game
it was the Rose Bowl.
Yeah,
Rose
okay.
Bowl, right.
Yeah.
But I remember a couple of weeks after the game, seeing they were doing like a breakdown of that play. And what's Alabama's quarterback's name?
Jalen Milroe. And there was an
Milroe.
RPO option, and the quarterback didn't see the guy in the flat.
He didn't
besides
see
the run.
it.
Yeah.
There was he was impatient on that play.
Well,
And
it was a bad snap too. So
and it was a bad snap. That played a role too. But anyway, you know, and it seems like a good hire despite some criticism.
I mean, yeah. At the end
Seems
of the
like a positive.
And the reason that the game is also different from college and the NFL is that in college they have boundary field. The hashes is
Hashes.
different.
You can
Now-
throw them hashes.
The
so far,
hashes.
that deep side of the field.
As a DB, as a safety, I'm gonna tell you right now, I used to miss that boundary. It's a lot of field in there.
It's a whole lot of field.
There's not a ton of comparisons I could find of a guy going from the college ranks right into a position coach who was tabbed as like the next guy up. Tommy Rees could have stayed in college football and had a premier Power 5 job either at Alabama or
Well, didn't
elsewhere.
Kiffin do it?
Kiffin did it. The most recent one was Joe Brady, who was
Joe
Joe
Brady's
Burrow's
done it.
passing game coordinator with Jamar Chase and
That's
Justin
right.
Jefferson. He went right from LSU, and he was just their passing game coordinator
And Bill
with the Tigers.
O'Brien, didn't Bill O'Brien also do it?
Yeah, but that was past. I mean, the most recent one
Okay.
of notoriety was Joe Brady, who went to Carolina, became their offensive coordinator for
Right.
2 years. Then he went to Buffalo as a quarterbacks coach and then got promoted to their OC job after Ken Dorsey got fired. So there is a track record of these guys having success moving from the collegiate ranks without any previous NFL experience to having success running an NFL offense, or at least contributing to the overall game plan.
Overall, though, I mean, I'm just judging this on pedigree because I don't know what his philosophy is. I didn't watch Alabama this year closely enough or Notre Dame last year. I just saw each of them a few times. Nothing stood out to me about their philosophy or their play calling. But to Tyvus's point, he did run offenses that suited their personnel, which I like.
Yep.
He can morph. You know, it's not like he's going, nope, I'm going to run spread, and that's all I'm going to run. He can run a pro-style set like he did in Notre Dame. I just like the pedigree. The pedigree of this hire is good. I always like it when teams draft players from Power 5 top schools. And
He
I
was
also like when
handpicked by
coaches
Saban.
make that
Handpicked by
jump.
Saban has to say
You-
has to count for
Yes,
something.
yes.
You know what, Jay? Dang, man. That just hit me when you said that. Man, that's profound. I'm just over here like, so why would you, when you got these coordinators, right? I would do this. I mean, I would say, okay, if I'm going to hire a running backs coach, if I'm going to hire a tight ends coach, yeah, any coach can coach those positions. But give me 5 or so assistants that have all called plays.
Sure.
Can you imagine the synergy with that? Because they're not just thinking about positions. All of them are thinking from a perspective of this is how I need to coach this guy based on the big picture of what we need to do.
Couldn't that also backfire if every guy thinks he should be the decision maker?
Well, it all depends, Bull. Yes,
Yeah,
I think
on the
it could.
personalities of the people.
But I do think, and I don't know this, I haven't seen this firsthand. I've been around Kevin Stefanski just a handful of times. What impresses me is because, and this is something I picked up from Jason. Jason tells me this over and over again. The man has zero ego.
I'm not
And
worried
I think
about-
from
yeah, yeah.
his perspective.
Sure, no
you've
doubt.
got to have for it to work. The head coach has to be open to ideas from all these positions. But you're right.
Yeah.
If you do get a position coach in here who's full of himself and was formerly a play caller, it might not be long before he's looking at head coach saying he's not doing this right. And then you could fracture.
But my sense is that, like, obviously this guy's got a good pedigree, and he was a play caller at big-time university.
Right.
He's a good
But
soldier.
it was still in college.
Yes.
He's not coming in here at whatever age he is thinking, I should
31.
take Kevin Stefanski's play call.
No,
I don't think he's got that
that's
attitude.
not going to
But
happen.
you know what? It also wouldn't surprise me if down the road in a handful of years that he's an offensive coordinator.
Okay.
Sure, yeah,
And he
yeah.
seems to be of the ilk where if he does a good job as a coordinator, he could be a head coach in this league.
When I used to hire people in corporate America, I used to say, okay, I sit in an interview and I would say, look, I want people that I think can do my job, not just the regular worker bees. Like, yes, you have to do certain things to get to that level, but if you hire people that you are already knowing that you're trying to promote, they're going to pay more dividends because they're going to be more punctual. They're going to be more, like, the thought process.
Did you pick that up in a management book? Because that's a brilliant theory that a lot of great managers use.
Yeah, you have to be. We just go to the training classes and they say you pick the people who think that could take your job, because then that means when they take your job, where are you going?
Yeah.
So it makes the whole organization better. And if I got guys that can think on a bigger picture instead of just on a micro level day to day, I think it pays.
I mean, also another positive about it is he's 31 years old, so like he's not that far removed from the game. He can still relate to the players.
Yep.
He understands the stuff that they're going through because he was just in it like not too long ago. And that you get a lot of response from players when they can talk to somebody that's like, oh, you get it, like you understand. Like it's opposed to going to talk to Bill Belichick. It's like, Bill, like it's been like what 70 years since you put this helmet on, like you don't understand. So I think from that aspect, that's
Belichick
a really
played in
good.
college? I can't
He did,
remember.
yeah. He played at a small college.
Yeah.
But he's only 71, I think. So it hasn't been quite 70 years
It's
since
50.
he put
You
an
know what
helmet.
I mean.
But I get your
Yeah,
point.
you
He
know what
played
I
on
mean.
young people. When I was 12, someone 40 had 1 foot in the grave.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I was watching a video the other day. Somebody called somebody in their 50s a senior citizen.
Belichick played at
Wait a
Wesleyan,
minute. When
by
do
the
you
way.
get the discount on like coffee?
65.
Oh, 65 at McDonald's. You
Yeah.
get the discount. You get
You
the
get
free.
some kind of discount at 50. At 50, on my birthday when I turned 50, I got an
I've been
AARP
getting
magazine.
I've been
How the hell are these people snooping out?
I've been getting mail from the AARP for years now.
Isn't
like
that crazy?
A couple of years. What are they doing?
That's 10%. I used to sell these coupon books.
Yeah, but I've never used it because
Never.
I'm just embarrassed.
Never.
So you
Time
get
is
Like
the
you get off money off
AARP.
movies.
Never.
Tyvis, real quick before we talk about a different position coach, but you said some of your favorite coaches in your entire career were your position coaches.
Oh, yeah.
How much of an impact could a position like Tommy Rees is a quarterback as a now tight end coach, but how much of an impact does he have, and how much kind of in general do position coaches have in terms of the grand picture of putting together an offensive or defensive philosophy?
They get the best out of their players. I mean, at the end of the day, it's about building relationships. And you, like I said before, if you get a coach that teaches you things about yourself and helps you become a better player, you grow respect for them. Because at the end of the day, and a lot of things that people don't understand is that how you perform dictates their job. Their job success is based off of your performance. And if you got respect for that guy, you love that guy, you'll go out there and play that hard because his family is depending on your performance. So for me, I had obviously my way around the league. I had a handful of coaches, but some of the coaches that stood out the most to me were, Brian Snyder, who was with me in Seattle. Now he's the special teams coordinator for San Fran. He's in San Fran now. Really good dude. Like, was the one that was like, Tyvin, listen, 53-man roster. The only way you're gonna make this roster, you might make it, but if you're not a starter, you got to be on special teams. And he was the first one as a young rookie to get me to understand how important special teams was. A guy like Richard Hightower, he is now the special teams coordinator for the Chicago Bears. HT was like the one that was like, I believe in you. He said, even the people upstairs, they don't see what I see in you. See, special teams, what you don't understand about special teams is that it teaches you how to be better at your position. When you're on KOR, kickoff return, and you running to go get it to block somebody, guess what that is? That's middle of the field safety work. You're running and flipping your hips and backpedaling and getting ready to go in the post. So it's teaching you how to be a better football player. When I got to Seattle as a rookie, Andre Curtis, my cornerbacks coach, he was the one that was like, he's like, man, I ain't gonna lie, I didn't think he was gonna make it. But then I found out that you actually good in games. You perform well in games. You a gamer. Like, I didn't know you was a gamer. He was like, all this time you've been in practice, not doing nothing. You get in the game and you go crazy. So
that's crazy.
That was And then K. Rich, I think K. Rich and Halfley was like my two favorite DB coaches. Halfley was with me in San Francisco. He was the first one that was like, Tyvus, you had a really good week of practice. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm going to put you in the game. And I'm like, half. Come on, man. Like, listen, we grown men out here. Why would you lie like that? Why? I done heard this before. Why would you lie? He said, no, Tyvus, I'm telling you. I'm going to put you in the game. I said, okay.
Did he?
Sunday coming around, we playing Jacksonville. About the third or fourth series, I just got done with special teams. I'm sitting on the sideline. He like, Tyvus, you ready? And I'm like, oh, you were serious. Let's go. And so, yeah, it was just moments like that, I really respected all my position coaches. And that's the type of stuff that you can get. They get you fired up. They get you ready to go. They the ones that's jumping around with you, celebrating with you if they not in the box. And you just
How much interaction did you have with the head coaches when it came to your job?
The only time you really talk to your head coaches is when you mess up. Like, really.
Or if they're cutting you.
Or if they cut you. But Kyle will talk to you. Kyle Shanahan will talk to you. But, like, during the game, unless you mess up, Kyle is an offensive coordinator, so that's where his mind is on. So I'm not going to talk to him.
Can you pull up to – I'll be doing prank stuff. Could you walk up to the head coach and be like, what's up, dog?
Yeah,
but
who you asking?
Like I want to go
because Pete Carroll. Oh my, Peter have a conversation. What's going on? He's like, we be down. He like, Tyvus, we're gonna win 21-27. Watch what I tell you. He'll take that gum, throw the gum in the stands like this, pull another one on. You like, Pete, what is wrong with you?
He score the wrong way, 21-27.
No, like we're gonna win 27-21.
You know
I'm
what's
just
crazy
like,
to me, like Pete's a great coach.
Yeah.
The record speaks for itself. The one reason, I think Bill Belichick is the greatest ever to do it any level, any era. I think Nick Saban's probably
better than Saban?
Number two. I think Saban's number two. But one of the things that always stands out to me about Belichick, where from what I can tell, he was different from every other head coach. And there's a lot of evidence to this. And he's told this story 2 or 3 times. Leroy Horde has said, you can go up to Bill any week of the season, any opponent, division or not, and he will tell you everything you need to know about the man that you're going to go against. It was that kind of intimate knowledge. And the other thing that tells me that he was the greatest coach ever, his assistant coaches, you would think, had a lot to do with his success. I mean, he had a lot to do with Bill Parcells' success. Mm-hmm. Bill Parcells did not have the same success without Belichick on his staff. Yeah. But when you look at the many, many, many coaches who had multiple opportunities in the NFL to show their wares that fell flat on their face once they got out of Belichick's crib, it's astounding. His coaching tree is
terrible.
0.
It's poison.
And he might be one of the only great coaches that didn't have a great coaching tree.
And they still keep getting chances, and they suck every time.
They do. Guys have been fired twice. They get a third job.
The quarterback is a big part.
I'm about to say,
it's a huge part.
Belichick's record without Tom Brady is a losing record in his career.
Look, now, you can make an argument that he's lost his fastball, and I think there's something to that. Yeah. But I still think for his body of work, I don't even want to argue it. I think he's the greatest to ever do it.
It is interesting that the Falcons, I don't want to go off track so real quick, it's interesting the Falcons have interviewed him twice and he's just not gotten the job.
Well, who was it that said it? Let's face it, the Falcons aren't interviewing him. He's interviewing the Falcons.
Okay.
Tell me about a time you've overcome an adverse situation. How about being down 28-3 in the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
All right, speaking of head coaches, by the way. Speaking about head coaches, by the way, we're going to talk about another head coaching change in the NFL that may affect the Browns after a word from Game Time. Have you guys ever had a difficult time finding tickets to an event, a concert, maybe a Cavs game on this 8-game win streak, and you just couldn't find any last-minute deals that fit your price range? Well, Game Time has the answer. They have killer last-minute deals, and the best part is they have all-in prices, so you don't get hit with a fee at the end. You can see the view from your seat, and their best price guarantee takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. If you find a ticket with a better price, you show it to them, and they'll give you a credit for 110% of the difference. If you're looking to buy tickets anytime, you better be doing it with Game Time, and it's easy. Just download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. That's, once again, promo code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last-minute tickets, lowest prices, guaranteed. Yesterday, Brian Callahan, the son of Bill Callahan, is reportedly going to Tennessee to be their new head coach. He'll replace Mike Vrabel. And there's a good chance that he takes his father, Bill Callahan, the current Browns offensive line coach, with him down to Nashville. If that is the case, how big of a loss would it be for the Browns if Bill Callahan, their elite offensive line coach, is no longer part of this offensive staff?
It's going to hurt. I'm not going to lie to you. If that comes across the Twitter timeline or the phone that Bill Callahan is gone, after what he did this season, this season more than not show how important he is to this staff. And if he gone, man, it's I'm gonna be happy for him because the chance to coach with your son.
I'm not happy for him.
Like that's great. Like that's great. Like that. Think about it, as a father, I get to coach with my son.
I'm not trying to see
I'm just saying that's great. Like, stop playing.
Yeah,
put your biases to the side.
By the way,
But as a Cleveland Browns fan, I'm gonna be like,
Brian Callahan has been the longest tenured offensive coordinator in the league. That's how quickly that position changes.
He's only been there a handful of years, hasn't
4
he?
years, I think.
And that's
5.
the longest tenured OC?
I think every OC now in the league
got a head coach.
will have been hired 2022 or later.
Oh, my God.
I think. I got to double check that, but I'm pretty sure that's the case.
That's astounding.
Obviously, this is a huge deal if the Browns lose Bill Callahan. He's been the most important position coach they've had probably in the 14 years I've been covering this team. I can't think of anybody more important than him as a position coach. No. He's done magnificent work. His reputation is as good as it gets in the league, right? I mean, does anybody have a better reputation?
Hell, he's coached in the Super Bowl.
I mean, the guy's phenomenal. So now, I think at this point, it's all just assumptions. Nobody has said. There's not like a report from Schefter, or it's not like he said, "Oh, I'm definitely going to go with my son."
No, but just connecting dots.
Right, sure. It's definitely a possibility, but at this point, it's just assumptions. We don't know for sure that's going to happen.
Right.
But, G, you look like you're going to panic.
Man, I don't want to see them happy.
What's wrong with you?
That's
messed up to say.
Hating on the Callahan.
It's just
messed up.
It's like a Mary J. Blige album. Don't nobody want no happy Mary J. We want the pain, gut-wrenching love ballad Mary J.
When I was loving you, you were busy loving
someone else.
Be loving you,
I sacrifice. That's what we want.
That's what I want to know.
That's what we want. We want the heartache and pain. Nobody wants to see Bill Callahan go with his son. His son will be all right. He saw him off to college. He good. He saw him off. He hugged him at the. Come on. Yeah. We need you, bro. We need you.
Jimmy Haslam can fix this.
And I'm expecting him to.
Step up and write a check.
Big time check.
Is it any money that can amount to you playing with your son?
Where you been?
What are you talking about?
Everybody's got a price.
How many people can say that they play coach with their son?
Yeah, but come on. He's made enough. Jay, he's made enough money. If he wants to go coach with his son, he's going to do it.
If they
True, but if Jimmy wants to make a run at keeping
Make it harder.
he can do it.
Sure.
Listen, I'm going to tell you right now, we know how good he is because, listen, DeJuan Jones, former Buckeye, all his issues weren't on the field, it was off the field. He came in, obviously, I think Mary Kay was saying that he struggled the first day OTAs. Like
throwing up?
Yeah, all of that stuff. And to think about that guy turned into what he was this season had a huge part because of Bill Callahan.
I agree.
Man, he made those two stiffs they had playing tackle the end of the year serviceable.
Listen, that money thing, money will change a lot of things. We all sit up here capping. They give us enough money, we'll be separate from our wives for about 6 months. Baby, don't even worry about that. I got the hotel. I'm going to bring this money. There's Alaskan fishers that go out and get salmon on Alaska for in a whole doggone day. And
Bill
with all
Callahan
that bread.
doesn't need to go ship sailing for fish.
Hey, that's what he's doing over there.
That money, that's not true because right now, the way I am, it's not a really good amount that you could give me to be separate from my family.
You already do it.
$1 million right
Listen,
now.
You spend most of your time on the road.
These two would understand. It's different now because y'all kids are older. But when y'all kids was young, and when you put that key in the door, and you heard them feet running,
nothing like
it was the best feeling in the world.
Like it in the world.
And you could not just be away from that for 6 months.
Let me tell you something.
You used to play in the NFL. You was going.
I had no kids either.
You know what makes that pitter pat so great? You don't have to be home with it 24 hours. My wife used to, when I'd come in and the kids would run to me and jump up on me, she'd look at me and be like,
hate
you right now.
Dude, you know how close I am with my son.
Right.
Like, he's my best buddy.
You take your son with
But
you.
if you told me I had to go away for 6 months to make a few $1 million,
Yeah.
everybody be okay with that.
Hey, FaceTime, Aaron. FaceTime.
He's older though.
Nuh-uh.
No,
Like
you know
these
what?
are
There is
these
something
are
to that.
critical
I like him
moments.
more. I like
This
my
is a
son way
critical
more now
moment.
than when he was 1. When he was 1, he was annoying. He
They
didn't know.
didn't do anything. You know, they shit, they sleep.
That's it.
They cry.
There's nothing interesting.
Tyvus won't turn down free podcasts to go on. Let alone he talking about he ain't gonna take $8 million to live in LA for a couple
Wait a
weeks.
minute. Where do I do the podcast at? My house.
But then you can have an Airbnb, a house, a condo, whatever you want. 6 months. We gonna get you
How much
together.
we talking?
Man, $5-6 million. You out of
Tyvus got
here.
real quiet. Tyvus was like,
He was like, hold on.
Money,
It's a lot of
kids,
money.
see ya.
I have to ask the
We'll see you in a few
lieutenant.
months,
I have to ask
baby.
the lieutenant.
I'm just saying, baby, this is good for us. This is good for us, babe. Babe, come on.
5 or 6
Hello?
million, man. That's a lot of
I
money.
bet that much she'd be kicking you out the door.
Bill Callahan's made his money.
Yeah, he
No,
got
he
it.
doesn't
He got
need
the bag.
whatever his salary is from the Browns. He doesn't need it. He
don't
can live
need
up
that.
just fine without it.
He cool.
But here's the thing. There is something special about this.
Yeah.
How many coaches have done it? I don't know. Did Lane and Monty ever coach on the same staff?
Yes. Yeah, they
I
did.
think maybe 1 or 2 years Lane
did.
brought Monty on as his D coordinator.
The only time we've seen it is with guys who were longtime head coaches eventually bringing in
Kyle
their
and
son.
Mike Shanahan.
Right.
Kyle was an assistant on Mike's staff.
We've never. I can't remember it this way.
Well,
where
with
Where the son
son,
hires
son
the dad.
hires the dad.
Well, I think
yeah.
Lane
Well,
Kiffin
Lane-
hired
Lane
Monty,
Kiffin.
his father.
Oh yeah,
Lane
that's
Kiffin,
right.
yeah.
But it is kind of cool. It all
Yeah.
depends on, and there might be something to this too. I love my dad. I don't want to work with my dad.
That's
Right.
true. We
There
have
might
no
be
idea.
something to that.
Yeah.
So it all depends on the kind of relationship they have. But look, if he leaves, I think everybody's going to understand.
Of
But
course.
to answer Mike's question,
It's a big deal.
there would be no bigger loss this team could suffer, as from an assistant coach perspective, than to lose Bill Callahan. The job that he has done, he's widely regarded as not just the best offensive line coach. I've heard guys refer to him as the best non-head coach.
Yeah,
Meaning
right.
all the coordinators, offensive and defense. And if I'm not mistaken, isn't he also the run game coordinator?
He has to be. All
Yeah,
all offensive
they
line
have
Not all
coaches.
of them,
Well, the
but a
majority
lot of them.
of
But I think he also is the run game coordinator. Look, if I'm his son, I absolutely want this guy's wealth of experience. He's coached in the Super Bowl. He got it handed to him, but
Now here,
You know what's funny,
you could have
though?
left that part out.
well, we did.
6 weeks ago, we were having conversations about could the Browns lose Jim Schwartz.
Yeah.
And now the whole offensive staff is in shakeup. And I haven't seen Jim Schwartz connected to a single job. And there's been a lot of open
And
jobs.
I've asked around, too, those that cover
Yeah.
the coaching circles, and they have said
He is off the radar.
that the ship has probably sailed for him as a head coach.
He's a
They didn't
coordinator.
definitively say that. They said, look, if he comes back next year, has the number 1 ranked defense, and the Browns go to the Super
Well-
Bowl, someone will hire
He
him.
may just be like Wade Phillips, though. He's one of these guys, like, not a good head coach, great assistant.
arguably though, I think the ship may have sailed on defensive coordinators, like defensive-minded head coaches.
Well, that's very true.
You see some, but yeah, most of the head coach hires are offensive guys.
it's-
Although the coach of the year this year came from the defensive side, D'Amico Ryan.
He won it?
No.
Oh,
In my mind, he should win it.
why? You because of the playoff game?
And
The vote had to be in before the playoff game.
Right.
So that's unfair to say because of the playoff game.
Yeah.
However,
Yeah.
I can't wipe that
But
image from my mind.
he
It
is
was
right in
already
the
before
end.
that.
Most of the coach
Yes.
hires are
From
offensive
offense,
guys,
yes.
the young coaches.
and defensive guys, it's hard for them to save their own selves. Like if you under fire because your team ain't playing well and you don't call the defensive plays, then like how can you save yourself? It's up to your offensive coordinator and your quarterback to do something. But if you're a young coordinator who calls plays, you can change a lot of stuff.
What's funny though is Brian Callahan didn't call plays. Zach Taylor called the plays. Now,
Yeah, I read that this morning, and I
Yeah.
thought, why the hell is he such a hot? Everybody wanted to
Do you
interview
remember
him.
when he was interviewing and Jay, you were like, he's not going to get a job. He doesn't call plays. And he got a job.
Wouldn't have expected it. I mean,
Because-
that part of it is outside normal.
I just think it's become commonplace that the head coach calls plays in many
Well,
situations.
that's not fair in this situation
Yeah.
because why does he get to get the head coach's job, but Eric Bieniemy couldn't?
That's a great question. That's a
I
great
mean, I
question.
know the answer. Well, speaking of,
But listen-
while we on that topic, shout out to the 2 first head coaches that got hired that was African American. Antonio Pierce. First of all, that's what we need to be. It need to be former players as head coaches.
I agree with that.
I like that.
Although the greatest of all time didn't play in the NFL.
Well, it's a new day and age.
And the greatest,
It is.
the greatest current coach in the NFL, Andy Reid, didn't play in the NFL either.
That's right. But there is something interesting that we can point out about we know the league is a copycat league. And we know that lately, the last decade plus, the coaches that are getting chances are young offensive coordinators. However, because it's a copycat league and because everybody's looking at what D'Amico did in Houston,
Maybe.
and now even though most of what they did there was on the offensive side of the ball, you might see another defensive-minded coach get a chance to be a head coach again.
Antonio Pierce. I mean, he did.
Well,
he
He
did
played.
But most interim coaches don't keep their job, so it was still an accomplishment.
That's
that he kept
true.
their job.
That is
most
true.
of them, even if they do well, they usually.
Well,
we saw Rich Bisaccia in Oakland. He
And
did
you
well,
know,
and
you know why he kept his job. You know why Antonio Pierce got the
players.
job.
Players.
Max Crosby
Because
said he
Max
wasn't gonna trade.
Crosby said if he don't get the
Oh, yeah.
job,
He
all
wants
things
out.
is on the table. I'm out of here.
Well,
I
Antonio
don't
Pierce
blame
did a
him.
great job, and
He did.
he is of a similar ilk because he's a youngish
Sure.
defensive coach.
Yes.
who was
So
an excellent player.
There's 2.
Yeah.
So you telling me I might as well just go ahead and apply then, if that's the case?
No.
I've recommended many times to you that
Oh,
you
I'm not
should
doing
coach,
it.
but
I'm
you
not.
don't want that lifestyle.
Especially
and you know
not
what?
at the
When I worked
collegiate
with
level.
Antonio at ESPN,
Yeah.
I asked him the same thing, and you know what he said? No, I'm good right where I am. I'm undefeated, and I don't have to work 18 hours a day.
Yeah.
That's what Leroy said yesterday. He just doesn't want to work.
That's
I
enough.
mean, most
I
guys,
don't have a problem working. I just
you talk about not seeing your family.
Yeah. Oh my God.
One last little thing on Callahan is, okay, well, look, I know this is a bad thing to say because we don't know. You know, you put yourself out there. Callahan is probably going to be here until he doesn't want to be here.
Oh, 100%.
But he could go over there with his son and get shadow round. Like, if they get fired.
True, but
like,
he could get any job if he did get fired in Tampa
Yeah.
or
Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Well, is his son going to ever fire him?
His
Well,
son,
his son-
would,
his
but
son
if his
might
son
get
got
fired.
fired.
Yeah, but I mean, you're looking at least 3 years. Most coaches get
Yeah,
at
they
least
get
3.
it.
Probably.
Do
Unless
they?
it just goes so sideways.
If they don't have a quarterback,
I guess hell.
And
Look
the
at
pa-
Carolina this year.
I'm about to say Carolina and Jacksonville,
You know what's
they didn't make it through the year.
Yeah, but what's crazy to me, in both instances, they took the wrong quarterback.
Oh, why did Jacksonville take the wrong quarterback?
Well, when Jacksonville took
Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields was available.
Trevor
They-
Lawrence is better than
they
Justin
were-
Fields.
Trevor Lawrence.
He is right now, but he's
Zach's
going
fired,
this way,
coach.
and Justin Fields is going this way.
Urban.
oh, got you. I thought
Everybody thought Urban was going to take Justin Fields.
I would still rather
That was
have
his guy.
Despite Lawrence's bad ending the season, I'd still take Lawrence over Fields.
You know who's going to be the hot guy this year? Justin Fields is going to be
If he
pursued.
go to Atlanta,
Hard.
it's a wrap.
No, you know where he's going.
If he go to Pittsburgh,
Welcome to the AFC North.
if he go to Pittsburgh, I'm
No,
sorry.
if he ain't going to Pittsburgh. He go to the Falcons, it's a wrap.
Well-
They ready.
It's interesting to me if Belichick gets that job and gets Justin Fields. Like, that's not the prototypical quarterback that Bill has ever
Right.
worked with.
It's a
You know
new
what?
day and age.
What's
I
funny
know
is
it
people
is.
are now getting hot and bothered over Justin Fields. And Mitch Trubisky.
He had a good year.
Mitch Trubisky's best season in Chicago was way better than Justin Fields' best season. It's not even close. And Mitch
There's one
Trubisky
big
sucks.
difference, but there's one
Legs.
big difference.
Mitch Trubisky had legs.
Not like Justin Fields.
He had legs.
I think you guys have forgotten that Mitch Trubisky was a good runner.
Sure.
What were
Trubisky
his
was a
rushing
Pro Bowler.
touchdowns and rushing yards in his Pro Bowl season in Chicago?
I can pull it up in
If
one
he
second.
had Justin Fields-like numbers, I've forgotten.
I forgot him.
They weren't as good as Justin Fields, but he was still good. It was like a big
I think he was.
factor.
I wouldn't call him a runner, but he was mobile.
I think he was a pretty good runner. Go over the numbers that year,
Trubisky
Mike.
in 2018, when he made the Pro Bowl,
Yeah.
threw for 3,300 yards,
that's a low
24 touchdowns to just 12 interceptions, and then ran that season for 448 yards and 3
Okay,
touchdowns.
give me them
I
fields.
mean, that's
now.
pretty good.
not
How
awful.
All right,
how many
not
running
awful at
backs?
all.
How many quarterbacks have more than that? Like
Let me-
3 or 4 guys?
let me
What
get
did
to-
Fields have
give me
this
the
year?
Fields
Well, he
numbers.
was hurt a lot, too,
Yeah.
this year. Justin was.
And by the way,
Justin
he was,
Fields led the Bears in rushing, so it's definitely more
Yeah,
than that. He
that's
had,
what I'm saying. I don't think he's Justin Fields type runner.
Justin ran
but-
for 657 yards.
in how many games?
13.
Yeah,
By the way,
so
we're gonna
that-
talk
that
later-
equates to like an
last year.
800 or an 850 season.
we're going to talk later about Deshaun Watson, and basically the only argument to defend Deshaun Watson at this point that people like to bring up is his win-loss record.
Right.
If we're judging by that, Justin Fields is the worst quarterback in the NFL.
And what's PJ's win-loss
Yeah,
record?
exactly.
We got one more thing before
really?
we get to Watson.
Phillips,
though.
but look at his touchdowns to interceptions.
Yeah.
Ty, we got
saying.
one thing before we get to Watson. This will be quick, but it got brought up this morning. It wasn't in the initial rundown, but I do think we should spend at least 5 minutes on it real quick. If
G's
you're
on
watching,
this.
hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, do us a favor. It helps us out a ton, and we appreciate everyone for spending their mornings with the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. But Stump Mitchell, the recently let go of running backs coach for the Cleveland Browns, has been doing a little bit of a media tour, and he sat down with a different TV station in the city of Cleveland yesterday, was asked what he kind of had the most regrets about during his tenure in Cleveland. And, G, I'll let you kind of set this up. I watched it. I don't think Jay and Bull have seen this yet. But
No.
he said his biggest regret was he couldn't get the most out of Kareem Hunt during his time here, and essentially kind of threw Kareem under the bus, saying he was always and consistently late for meetings and practice. Gee, will you echo that to make sure I'm not over-exaggerating?
I tweeted it at first because I only saw a snippet of it. I heard him say, I couldn't get the most out of Kareem, and basically we tried to have people have interventions with him or whatever the case may be, from Deshaun Watson or other quarterbacks to get through to him. And then I watched the long length, and when I watched the short length, I threw it out. I said, "Is it me or like he got some problem with Kareem Hunt?" And I was like, "Let me see." I went to the whole full length.
Yeah.
I watched the full length, and he went in. He basically said, and it was unsolicited. She's like, talk about some of the guys that you've coached and their impact, and pretty much, do you have any regrets or anything the things went? He was like, well, if I have one regret, I just couldn't get through to Kareem Hunt. Kareem, he's a good player. I think, I didn't get the most out of Kareem.
I wish
I gave him multiple opportunities. He would come to meetings late. He would be, one of the first guys off the field. And I even had, some quarterbacks like Deshaun reach out to him and stuff and try to get through to him. But I was just never able to get through to him like that. I'm like, dang.
That's shocking.
That's unsolicited.
I'm not surprised.
No, it's not. I'm not surprised about what he said. I'm surprised that he said it.
Yeah, I was like,
They don't do that.
I wish he wouldn't have did that.
I'm glad he did it.
I wish he wouldn't have did that at all. That's not.
Does that change it? I know you
Yes,
guys.
it does.
I didn't want Kareem Hunt back to begin with, assuming Nick Chubb is back. But does that change your mind on wanting him back?
It does.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Watch this.
Yeah.
There's a code, bro. It's a code. You can't. The same way coaches don't admonish coaches
We
in the
talked
media.
about this yesterday.
You can't, as a position coach, admonish that man in the media without giving him an opportunity to speak on that. Like that, and he's a free agent.
Wait, but
That's what I'm saying.
But I disagree with that.
Sounds
G,
like he's
because
given him a lot of
he
opportunities.
gave him all kinds of opportunities.
But here's the thing, though. If you cared about it like that,
Man.
you had to do that. You had to do that privately.
That's what I'm saying.
because you could go to him like, listen.
Wait, guys. I'm sure that was done privately. He said it was done privately.
well, he didn't
But
need to
you-
put it on. You didn't need
You
the world
can't put
to
that
know
on wax.
But so I disagree, and let's have that discussion.
Talk to them.
As a parent, particularly when one parent wants to rule with an iron fist and the other parent's like, oh, let the boy go. There's differences there. The problem is, if you decide to go lenient and child takes the wrong road, now there's division between the parents who couldn't come up with the parenting philosophy. The parent who wanted to be strict is saying, we gave him rope, and look where he went. So there's always going to be that. I take this, I'm a little concerned. Did Stump Mitchell go to Kevin Stefanski and say, Coach, I'm on him as hard as I can get on him? He needs to hear this. Sounds like he said, I tried interventions. This criticism didn't come out of left field when Kareem heard it. He was shocked that he went public with it, but sometimes you've tried everything you can with the player, and they just aren't listening. Maybe this is the nuclear weapon that you're using not to hurt the player,
Oh, that's gonna hurt him.
Jay.
but to help
That's
the
gonna
player.
hurt
Wait
him.
a
I'm about to
second.
say that's
Well,
definitely
don't you
going to
admit-
hurt.
But wait a second, guys. You're saying like it's going to hurt him because he's a free agent. Maybe that's why he didn't get signed last year. Don't you think?
That's
don't
what
you
I
think
went
This is
to,
known
Paul.
around the league already. If it's
And
that bad?
which team knew his work ethic?
My
Browns.
thing is this. you want to go with the child and parent route. So let me ask you this. Let's say one of your kids is struggling in school.
Yes.
Right? And the teacher said, would you rather that teacher call you and say, hey, I just want to let you know that your son.
I need to know that.
Okay,
Titus.
perfect.
Of course I.
Or would you rather them say, you know what? Let's get on the PA. Corey Crawford is struggling in math right now.
Corey Crawford never made over $1 million a year to be a math student.
What difference does that make?
What difference does it
All
make?
I'm asking you
Kareem
is,
Hunt
would
a grown-ass
you
man,
rather?
and that's his job.
Would you rather the teacher come to you privately, or would you rather her get on the
So what I'm
loudspeaker
telling you
and
is,
blast it to the
Titus,
whole world?
What I'm telling you is, sometimes the scarlet letter isn't where the discipline train starts. It's where it ends. So what I'm saying is, he's telling us, we tried interventions. I tried everything I could to get through to the player. My regret is I couldn't. So maybe he's doing this not to spite or vindictive or anything else. Maybe he's doing that because he says, I don't know what else to try with Kareem. I love Kareem like a child. But he can't succeed unless he gets his best.
What you don't realize is it's done. It's over. Kareem might not play another snap.
I don't agree with that.
Oh, no, I think
Coming off, he scored 9 touchdowns in the regular season.
Yeah, but
Is
nobody
that the
cares
number?
You want to bet?
I will bet you that
He's
Kareem
done.
Hunt
He's
gets
done.
another carry.
Everybody
in the
see
NFL.
this, right?
It's done.
Everybody
It's
see
finished.
this.
He's
He's
done.
done.
He said,
He's
the
done.
Browns had-
Last year, Jamal Williams had 17 touchdowns, and he barely played this year.
Listen, I
You know,
understand.
I don't think the 9
happens.
touchdowns.
He's
I
done.
think he averaged 3 yards a carry.
Guys,
done.
what's the hardest thing in football to do?
Score touchdowns.
Punch it in from the 1.
Okay.
Look at the number of teams that have no problem moving it between the 20.
But guess what?
He's a running back.
Now
And
he has
lot of running backs
he's
out
a
there.
terrible work ethic. You can't get through to him. So why would you bring him in?
I would say, listen,
Someone will.
I
No,
don't
they
think,
won't.
I don't think we're gonna.
It's over.
I get what you guys are saying. I think we got to look at it this though. But forget whether he should have said something or not. Now that he has, does it change your opinion on whether you want Hunt back?
Well, no.
I didn't want him back to begin with.
No, we skipped over the big thing. The biggest thing is this. Stump. Let me just keep it real with you. This might be. It just might be.
He broke the bro code.
Look, you can't do an interview, right? You just got let go.
Okay.
Right? You just got let go.
Mm-hmm.
You said all glowing things about your organization and people who control your job.
Mm-hmm.
The reality of it is, those individuals above you, they got rid of you. And you could have had an axe to grind on the way out, but you didn't say nothing. But yet and still, you chose, unsolicited, to talk about Kareem Hunt on the way out. That's a parting shot. And by the way, it works both ways here. If you are a guy like, if you're looking at what Stump Mitchell did, they could look at him and be like, well, we told you multiple times don't leak no information.
Yeah.
Pause.
Yeah.
We told you. We're going to keep this in-house.
And it could hurt his ability to get
No,
a
the
job.
irony of all this, though, guys, is he was fired for leaking information, and now he's talking to the media, and we're surprised.
But here's the thing. If Kevin Stefanski and the media came out and said, you know what? The reason we got rid of Stump Mitchell was X, Y, and Z. He was a chatty patty. He couldn't keep nothing in the house. And you know what? We like what he do in the field. But as an organization, that you can't have loose cannons.
We would have been critical of them.
People would have been like, wow. Because guess what? Stump Mitchell will never get another job because his coach was on record.
That's
saying,
fair. But I still think we're ignoring the fact that Kareem Hunt was a bad teammate.
If he wasn't working hard, he was a bad teammate.
Allegedly.
Wait.
Stump made it up?
We don't know.
You got to hear from that. He got an opportunity to rebuttal that.
Sure.
I mean, I would love to hear what Kareem
Get him
has
on the
to say.
podcast. Steve, book him.
Let's go.
I would
Look,
love to hear what he had to say
Let him
because
defend himself.
it's fascinating.
We'll bring him
because
on.
If it's true, he was a bad teammate.
or
If it's true.
Yeah.
now here the theory maybe, and I'm gonna give Stump the benefit of the doubt on this. Maybe the reason Stump came out against it was listed as one of the reasons why they let him go because there's a situation with Kareem Hunt. You didn't get the best out of him.
Well, but see, I think they got more out of Kareem than anyone thought they were going to get.
I did too.
Jason was saying he's on 3 wheels. A lot of people. Here's what he was asked to do.
I think he was on 3
He
wheels.
was asked to be a short yardage back.
Well,
he punched that ticket.
But we don't know that, Jay. Maybe they would ask him to do more if they thought he could do more, but they didn't think he could.
If they thought he could, they would have brought him back. without not bringing him back originally. They
And
must
maybe
have
they
said,
didn't because they knew he could.
They must have said,
Yeah.
he's at the end of his rope. He doesn't work hard. All he's good for is the short yardage stuff. We've got Nick Chubb. We're good. Nick Chubb goes down. Now all of a sudden they're looking around saying, who's going to get 3rd and goal from the line?
I would just Tyvus is right that Kareem's not going to get a job next year.
Oh, is that?
But
We'll see.
I think he probably wasn't getting a job anyway.
That
even
could
without
have
been
those
true,
guys.
too.
We'll find out.
I mean, Jay.
I just think there's a market for a guy that does what he does.
Jay, the guy
There's
was,
a market for that.
The guy literally was sitting at home after a whole. When did Kareem? I mean, when did?
After he
Yeah,
signed
he's
week
been
3.
sitting at home. Like, did nobody call him? He ain't get no. I don't even think he worked out.
No,
for
he
anybody.
did get calls.
Did he
and
work out?
According to his agent, he was deciding which offer he was going to take. That never came to fruition. No, you've heard that.
The agent could be full of crap.
They usually are.
Yeah.
They usually are. But what we know came to fruition was when the Browns lost Chubb, who did they call? And they knew what his work ethic was because he'd already been on the team.
All right, so let me ask you this: God forbid, Chubb's not right next year.
He may not be at the beginning of the season.
Will they bring him back?
No, and I don't want to say
you go.
it's because of the stump. I don't want to say it's because of the stump.
There you go.
The Browns have also made the
Why
decision
not?
Ford's not the guy either.
There is a need for short yardage
Yes.
and goal line situations.
There is, but here's what you're missing. Ford isn't the guy.
Okay.
So they have to get another running back.
Okay.
Because they don't have Chubb, and they'll know that when they're going out to look for him. They're going to find somebody that can do the dirty work. And there is a role for guys that do the dirty work.
So they just go run with the new guy.
I don't know who that new guy is going to be. I don't know, but I do believe
I think
they're
there's
going
plenty
to be.
of guys.
I'm just saying, for a guy that punched in 9 touchdowns last year, and there's such a need for short yardage and goal line situations, it would be unbelievable that they don't bring him back, especially a guy that they already know can get it done.
Not to me.
But they already know what said. The Browns would know all that.
Yes,
stuff
they
already,
don't need.
wouldn't
They don't. By the way, they don't need Stump Mitchell to confirm what they already know about Kareem Hunt. They don't. Now, I think it does change the image of Kareem Hunt to the other 31 teams.
But it was so unsolicited. Go ahead, Big I just didn't see it coming like that. I was like,
Who would have guessed that? I wouldn't have guessed that.
It came out of the
Nobody
blue
would have.
because it wasn't even a
That he
pointed
said
question
it. But you know
towards
what?
Kareem
Why
Hunt.
was he fired?
That's the weird
Loose
part.
lips.
Yep.
Sink ships.
We done went around. You know what? He done went around. That was a cold. That was a back door right there. That was crazy.
No, what I'm saying is, on the
see what you're
surface,
saying.
I'm like, wow. Here's the thing. If you would have said there was a coach that said something about a player, you would look at that and go, oh, my God, that never happens.
never
But
happens.
then when you would say, but the player was Kareem Hunt and the coach was Stump Mitchell, then you would say, oh, okay.
Stump
that
just don't
kind of
give
makes
up.
sense. Stump likes to talk.
Don't give it.
First of all,
Yeah.
how often do you see a fired coach do a sit-down interview with a television station?
Facts.
None.
That
He
is
did
true.
multiple- I know. He's like he's on a rehabilitation tour.
And he had he had the Maury Povich to the side angle like this, man.
Wait,
That 3/4
How's up
angle.
with coffee and the crossed legs? Go ahead.
We got to get to our next topic here, and this topic is brought to us by FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed just by placing a $5 bet. That's $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. And the best part about FanDuel is its simplicity, and there's so many different ways to bet, including live same-game parlays. You can find bets in the new Explorer tab. You can make parlays in the Parlay Hub, which is the best and most popular way to find pre-made parlays, and so much more. So make sure you visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to make your first bet a layup. FanDuel, an official partner of the NFL, an official partner of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. And, Bull, you can take it from here. This was your topic, your tweet, and I'm going to let you set this up however you want to do this because I had nothing
I want to
do
make it clear quickly. That bet was for no money.
No.
I'm not betting any money on it.
I'm not betting no money. No.
Because I'm not that sure.
No, I just think it's
Gentleman's bet.
Y'all wrong for saying that last thing. I mean, firing coaches go on a media tour.
They don't. You never see that.
Ever.
I feel like Greg Williams did that, though.
Well, Greg Williams is an odd duck. Greg Williams is a guest, is a host on a podcast.
That's insulting to odd ducks.
Hasn't he been coaching for 21 years?
Who?
Stone.
Yeah, over 20. Yeah, I don't know the exact
He
number.
probably done anyway.
All right.
I don't know. Maybe.
Mike, technically this
Got
is
a
your
great
topic,
beard.
but I was fired. So listen, which tweet are you starting with? The one that I pissed off both sets of fans? So I tweeted this. Now, if you see my previous tweets during the Buccaneers-Lions game, I was actually complimentary of Baker, believe it or not. I said he played his ass off. I said I want to see him get a chance on this final drive to see what he can do. But I felt on that final drive, even though he had played really well, that he choked. So I said, even with the choke by Baker, which pissed off the Baker bros, even though
that was a fact, though.
Right, it was.
I mean, nothing in that tweet is not factual.
Whoa, you stamping that?
Okay.
The first, 1, 2, 3.
All of it.
The first before the comma,
all of it.
No kidding.
I said he had a hell of a season.
Okay.
He was way better than Deshaun this year. Never would have thought it was possible that I would say that when the Browns traded for Watson. He has a lot of. You want to show the rest of that, Mike?
Tag board does not allow you to show the next part, so there's your next tweet.
God,
and then this is when people were responding. I said, listen, I wanted Baker Con too. I still don't think the answer, but as always, I keep it real. Don't embarrass yourself trying to say Watson had a better year.
Okay.
I didn't think that was, when I said that, I didn't think there was any controversy to that. I thought it was obvious.
I don't either. I actually want to compliment you, Bull, because I think of the takes that we've had, thousands.
Yeah.
Your strongest take was Baker sucked and he needed to go. And so for you to do what you did shows the character of the kind of man you are.
Yeah, thank you.
It's not easy to admit we're wrong.
I never really.
That's a fact.
I did say Baker sucked. I didn't really think he sucked. I just thought he wasn't good enough to win a Super Bowl with. I still don't think he's good enough in the long term to win a Super Bowl with. But I call it like I see it. The guy had a heck of a year this year. He played well.
So what part of that did anybody have an issue with?
The argument was. Here's the deal. It's like politics. Now, sports has become just like politics.
Which I hate.
I hate it, too.
Oh, my God.
We picked our camps, and once we're in those camps, we can say nothing bad about the guy in our camp and nothing good about the guy in the other camp.
But you're changing camps.
But I'm not doing that. I don't believe in that. I thought the Watson trade was the absolute 100% right move. I hope that it still was the right move. I still believe the Browns needed to move away from Baker. But Baker had a very good season, very good. And he played well against Philadelphia, and he played mostly well in this game. And so I didn't understand, like, the idea that we're looking for things to say, oh, he did this poorly or he got lucky here. Yeah, that's just not fair, okay? And what people got angry was that they said it was an unfair comparison because Watson didn't play a lot this year.
That's part of the equation.
Yes, that is, and there is some truth in that. It's not a perfect apples-to-apples comparison because Baker played 17, 18, 19 games with the playoffs, whatever he did, and Deshaun played 5. So it's not a completely fair. My point was it was a more successful season for Baker than it was for Watson. I didn't see how there was any possible debate. Somebody got mad at me and said, I bet you wouldn't say that about Joe Burrow. I said, no. Actually, I didn't respond to the guy, but I'll say it right here. Yes, Baker Mayfield had a better season than Joe Burrow. Part of that was because Joe Burrow got hurt, just like part of that was Deshaun Watson got hurt.
Yeah, and
we don't know what they would have done if they would have played all year.
Let's just say that it was switched. Deshaun plays the whole season.
Yeah.
Wins the division, gets a home playoff game.
Right.
Wins that playoff game, plays well. Baker plays 5 games and goes 4-1.
Right.
How many people do you think
everybody
are going to go crazy if you say Baker had a better season than Deshaun in that case?
Right. It doesn't.
That's impossible to make that connection.
It doesn't make sense.
I think what they got. Because I responded to him. I told him he was tripping.
He said I was tripping.
You responded to
Bull?
I
was tripping.
Yeah,
really?
He tripping.
Oh, man.
Now watch this.
I thought it was very well said.
Nah, you didn't see the second part.
What was the second part?
I don't know what the second. I don't see the whole
I didn't
thing.
either.
So let me get into it.
Hold on, I may change my mind too.
So he says, when he's done, he said, he has a lot of work to do to prevent this trade from being a disaster that it has been to this point. When you say disaster, that's hyperbole. People are going to say, how bad is a disaster you see them play 11 games? Mind you, let me give you this. Baker Mayfield, when he was here, got 60 games and he started. 60. We got 60 games to evaluate whether or not Baker Mayfield was a franchise quarterback. So you telling me in only 11, it is an unmitigated disaster.
Well, I think
That's not what I said, G. That's not fair.
This point.
So
I said to this point.
Which is critical.
And by the way, you know that I was out on Baker a lot earlier than a lot of people.
That's just like saying, to this point, my 6-month-old child has not spoken. It's 6 months.
No, that's not.
No, that's not. I think one of the things that you might be missing on this, and this is the elephant in the room, and we always have to talk about it. you have to consider the money because the money raises the expectations.
So hold on.
How much did Baker get paid for those 60 games? Let me help you with that.
First of all,
not as much as Deshaun Watson made in one season.
and you didn't trade 3 first-round picks to get Baker.
That's also part
here's
of
the
it.
thing.
Yeah.
Well, we talk about the 3 first-round picks. To get Baker Mayfield, we had to go 1-31. That was what we were charged with. That charge is roughly charge going 1-31 is a higher price than 3 first-round picks. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean?
That has nothing to do with Baker.
But hold on. It cost you something. You didn't get Baker for free. You got the first pick because you were trash.
It's
Then-
not a-
Hold
Yeah,
on.
but-
Hold on. Let me
Gee,
finish
what
the
about all the
comparison.
bad seasons we had where we picked bad players after it?
Well, here's what I'm saying. When you miss on a quarterback, it sets you back how many years?
We've seen it.
We-
3 to
like
5.
4.
So why? So we sweep that under the rug. Like, okay, let's go and move
Well,
on.
that's not Baker's fault.
Oh,
Why?
wait,
'Cause-
hold on, G. The point is, forget the Baker aspect.
We can't blame Baker because
that-
we were 1-31.
That second half of that tweet had zero to do with Baker, okay? It had zero to do with Baker.
I'm saying it's not a disaster.
But
And that if you
Yes.
feel like it's not a disaster, my analysis of the 2 years that Deshaun Watson has been here is that trade is horrible for the Browns at this point.
Why?
They did just
okay,
make the
let's
playoffs.
take it year by year. But wait, let's
They
take it year by year.
just went to the
Okay.
playoffs.
So how
take it
big
year
of
by
a
year.
disaster was it if they went to the playoffs?
In the first season,
Okay.
he was suspended for 11 games. Disaster.
He didn't.
No.
He didn't make. Goodell made that choice. He didn't say I want to
well,
be suspended.
listen.
Yeah, but exactly. But that's like saying you can't blame someone for going to prison because the judge sent him there.
The first one,
I mean, it was litigated.
The first season was
and
a
the
disaster.
judge-
Yes, it was.
So-
11 games,
yeah,
he
but-
didn't
but
play
I'll go
well in
further.
6.
I'll go further. On the
17
11
games, disaster.
He wasn't there. Even in his absence, they were not eliminated from the playoffs until the home loss to a Southern team that plays in a dome that beat Deshaun Watson
New Orleans.
when it was 0 degrees.
Hold on, but also you can't. Hold on.
Wait a minute.
Wait,
could've salvaged that.
Stefanski also threw the ball 60 times
Wait,
in the weather.
We are getting off track.
Yeah,
but
we are.
this
We're
whole
going
argument
to.
started about a tweet I put out. And the tweet I put out, I thought had no controversy whatsoever. And people took it and ran, I hate Watson now, even though I've been totally on board with Watson from the
said that?
beginning.
I said
No, I didn't say you said it, but you know where people go when you do that. And I wasn't even judging anything that will happen from going on. I didn't say it's over. I didn't say he's never going to be
you said
good.
to this
I
point.
said to this point, this trade couldn't have gone
Wait,
worse.
let me do this.
But that's not
That's not factual.
because
Okay,
they
so
just
what?
went to the playoffs.
Wait.
I don't think that disproves the trade being bad. If they hadn't made that trade,
See, no, what would make the whole thing a disaster is if they made that trade, Deshaun Watson went down and they just continued to
Tyvus,
suck like
they,
that.
they have gone to the playoffs in spite of that trade, not because of that
That's
trade.
exactly
but
right.
that doesn't
and
make
lost
it,
to a
it's
team.
not, but it's
we
still not a
built with those draft picks.
But it's still not a disaster.
Let me ask you this: How would you characterize it? I'll ask you this: you pick a word because he picked disaster.
Yeah.
You pick a word to characterize his first 2 seasons, and you pick a word.
I'll pick a word. It's called incomplete.
That's what I was gonna say. Complete.
If you're
not
judging
incomplete. I'm
it,
judging
no,
the 2 years.
and
That
that's
is-
exactly right.
yeah.
If you're judging this trade, I agree with you. The grade on this trade
incomplete.
is incomplete because
Yes.
only 40% of the hay is in the barn. The next 60% might take us to 3 Super Bowls. We don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
So all we can do is judge the trade to this point.
Well, one season they didn't make the playoffs. The next season they did.
But that is
Not
nothing to do
because
with the
of it.
trade.
That's not the point.
Yes,
point
it is.
is-
The
That was
point
my
of the point of
So
the
use the
trade.
word. How do you
the
characterize
point
it?
of the
You're trying to
trade.
judge my point. That was the point I was making. That
Right.
he has done little or nothing to help them accomplish any goals. And through 2
See,
years,
y'all. I think my point is.
if I had said disappointment instead of disaster, would everybody have been fine with that?
Sure,
Well, there's no
I
question
think,
it was
I
the
think
disappointment.
the reason that I'm looking at it from 2 different, like I think you're looking at Deshaun Watson, the player. I'm looking at the team. Like you said, when this trade makes the team, and when you think
Did
about
they make the playoffs this year because they made the Deshaun Watson trade?
yes,
They did?
Wow.
yeah, wow.
He won
Why not?
4 games.
Well, if
They
that's
did.
the case,
I'm about to
then
say,
watch
he
this.
definitely won.
Watch this then. If that's the case, they lost the playoffs because of that Deshaun Watson.
I agree with that.
Okay.
I don't.
So,
I
so
actually
what word
I
do
agree
you
with
use?
that.
What word do you use?
I-
How would we
I-
characterize it?
Incomplete.
No. The 2 years that we know, not the whole trade, because it is.
Oh, I have
incomplete.
no idea.
Titus, let me ask-
My thing, I have no
characterize
idea.
his 2 years
Let-
inclusive.
I have no
Let me
idea.
ask you this:
I have
if
no
you
idea.
asked every GM in the NFL right now,
Would you make that trade?
would you take back that trade if you could?
They
Would every
probably
single GM would?
say yeah because of
Without a doubt.
the money and the draft picks.
Okay.
Well, that's
so
part
then
of it.
how the trade has been a bad trade. To this point.
So here's the point that
Yeah.
I'm sitting here making.
And by the way, in the end, this is an opinion. So there's no fact. I mean, to me, it's pretty obvious that the trade's been a disaster. But if you don't like the word disaster,
I would
disappointment,
just
whatever
like
you want
to
it
see
be.
what words they use.
Well, here's what I look at it, and you guys
Yeah.
talk about the data all the time.
Yeah.
Do you know that Brandon Wheaton has played more games than him? Brady Quinn has played more games than him.
Listen,
All these
I
guys.
don't understand what that's doing anything with you.
What I'm saying is, here's the problem a lot of people got.
Yeah.
People got a problem with the simple fact that when we talk about this thing with Baker Mayfield,
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield, when he was here, had a cult following, even when
Yeah.
he was not doing what he was supposed to. Then when he left, there was half of our population that says we're going with Baker.
Well, would you say Deshaun Watson has a cult following now with all the people that are supporting him?
Why? I'm gonna give you this. Hold on.
it's just hard to. It's hard for me because like he in the games that he's played, he played all right.
The
Like,
problem
I don't
we have.
understand.
Did they trade for him to be
Hold
all
on,
right?
hold on.
I mean, his last couple
Hold on.
games was good.
I
Let you
can't
cook,
finish
let you
my-
cook,
I
let you
can't
cook.
finish
Like, I
my
don't-
situation. When we people got a problem with when Baker Mayfield is average or mid or whatever you want to call him,
Yeah.
people bend over backwards to give him. Hold on, you're triggered. Hold on. You bend over backwards to say, "Oh, give him another shot." We did that year after year. Give him another shot. We need another coordinator. We need receivers. It was Odell Beckham's fault. They did all that for 4 years, right? And as a Browns fan, I sat back and patiently watched and say, "You know what? Baker's the quarterback until he's not the quarterback." My problem is when Baker when left up out of here, we see all those excuses, all of that talk. This man been here and played 11 games. Now all of a sudden, we got this is abject failure. We didn't say it was an abject failure. 42 games with Baker. He got 60 games of runway.
My thing
First
is,
of all, wait, no. Because hold on one second. Because all the things you're saying people say, you know that I said none of those things.
but what?
None of them.
Boy, let me ask you this though.
None.
Let me ask you this.
Do you believe Baker Mayfield? So here's the thing.
You go ahead.
Do you believe Baker Mayfield has more of a benefit of the doubt, and it's a different standard that they judge quarterbacks with Baker Mayfield than other people?
I think there is. Yes. But I think there's multiple you're making it seem like there's only one reason for that.
There is other reasons for
There
it.
are
You're not going to
many
go into them,
reasons.
though.
First of all, you're always going to give benefit of the doubt to a guy you draft and is a rookie when he joins your team, as opposed to a guy you trade for who's already a proven entity in the league. That's not apples to apples.
But
Isn't that fair?
That is fair.
Well,
And-
he has said that himself many times.
And so what I'm saying here, there's
Yeah.
a lot of what goes into the Deshaun Watson thing is the exact thing that goes into anybody we bring in. If you poll the audience and you say, how well did Odell Beckham go over here? They go crazy. They're like, it's terrible. It was horrible. It was ridiculous. He didn't want to be here. Why? You know what?
That's not true. Amari Cooper's was worked out.
Martin Cooper, that's the thing. But here's
And
the
we
thing.
love him.
But guess what? There was also people saying, we're not giving Martin Cooper no money before this year.
They definitely saying
What?
he need to take a pay
You
cut.
think Odell Beckham it went well for him here?
No. What I'm saying to you is, when you got the standards of it, anybody that we bring in, they start doing little stuff like when Odell tore his ACL. Why did he get on Facebook to congratulate his teammates? Why is he not on the
But
sidelines?
see, you're spinning this all to other things that have nothing to do with
No,
it.
hold on. But what I'm saying is, they did the same thing with Deshaun Watson.
But this started as an argument that you had a problem with what I said, and none of these things are any things that I've ever said.
Well, let me
They have
ask you.
nothing to do
Let
with
me
it.
ask you this. This kind of ties
Yeah.
back into it. So you said has it been a disaster? Well, you say that the money part is really like the big part of it, right?
You can't forget about
You can-
that.
okay,
Yeah,
so-
that's the
so
biggest part of it.
outside-
For me, by the way, if they gave Deshaun Watson, let's just say that they made the exact same trade with Dallas that brought Amari Cooper here, I'd be like, well, you know what? We didn't give up much to get him.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter that he can't get on the field.
So let me ask you this.
But that's not the case.
So let me ask you this: Kyler Murray, Russell Wilson, Lamar, Justin Herbert, and Joe Burrow. Of those 5 people I just named, only one of them played up to their contract this season, and that's Lamar.
That's fine.
The rest of them is terrible. But we're not. Why are we not saying
We
that?
don't talk about
why
that.
would-
I would
why-
agree with what you
That's
just
all.
said.
Why is that not a disaster?
It is. We're not talking about
That's a
those quarterbacks,
disaster
though.
because they had one bad season after a contract year.
No.
No, this is 2.
First of all,
It's
First of
not.
all,
He played 11
Tyvus,
games.
Tyvus.
It's 17 games
That's
in a
part of the
season.
disaster.
Tyvus, Joe Burrow, when he's played for Cincinnati, has played great. Has he not?
Yes.
For the most part.
Yes.
But this season was a disappointment.
Did he not lead the team to the Super Bowl?
So Deshaun.
So how are you going to compare
So when
it?
Deshaun Watson played for the
Deshaun
Browns,
has-
was they not good?
Yes, they were.
What's
Tyvus.
that record, McNuggets, when he played?
Tyvus, we got
It's seven- it's
should we
7
give you
and 4.
PJ Walker's record?
I'm
Tyvus,
just asking you a question.
Are
You
you gonna
just
wait,
said you
hold on,
just
hold on.
literally said that when Joe Burrow played for Cincinnati, were they good? Yes. When Deshaun Watson played for the Browns this season, were they good? Yes. Were they not?
Tyvus.
Did I miss
Tyvus,
something?
he played lousy against Cincinnati.
Did they
He
win?
played- Yes.
Okay.
So
all right. Hold on.
So if
keep going.
the team wins,
keep going. Hold on. Keep going.
has he played?
PJ isn't any good either.
Let me ask you this.
And he beat San Francisco.
Hold
me ask
on
you
now.
this,
Don't do
Tyvus.
that.
Hey, come on.
Don't do that now.
How many great games has Deshaun Watson played for the Browns? Great games.
I'll give him
Four.
2.
The 4 that he
He's
won.
played 4 great games.
He won 4.
No. That doesn't
Come
mean
on,
they were great
Tyvus.
games.
He won. You know better than
He
this.
played great in the second half against Baltimore, and he played great against Tennessee.
He hasn't played one.
He played good against the Cardinals,
The
too.
only thing I could argue that he played. This is insane. Because if I would have told you
I
guys
love it.
after 2 years that Deshaun had played 11 games and had arguably not a single great game, the best game he's played was against Tennessee. He did play very well in the second half.
Hold on.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
Yeah. It's great. You're saying he played great.
Watch
He
this.
beat the Vikings and the Cardinals.
Watch this.
And Baltimore.
Hey, this dude.
Baltimore in the second half
Hold
was a
on.
great game.
This dude.
That counts as a great game.
The Baltimore
It's not about
Ravens.
your
Hold
start,
on.
it's about your
Hold on.
finish.
The Baltimore Ravens. This
Yeah.
is the part that I hate. The Baltimore Ravens. We sat here for a whole day and talked about Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
He was at home against the Ravens
love
and got
it.
dog walked
Yeah.
for 4 picks, and we were sitting here
Who?
talking Brock Purdy.
Oh, yeah.
Talking about, he
yeah.
might be an MVP candidate. We showed what he
So-
was about.
so-
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. We see Deshaun Watson go into a game at Baltimore with the MVP playing with a tore up ankle and a broken shoulder. He goes 14 for 14, touchdown, get him in field goal percentage, and get a game. Now, but the problem is this.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I got a question and it ends it all.
Hold on. I got a question.
All
too.
of these people that say it's an abject failure, I want to see what your energy was like after he had that game. Nobody in the city was talking about it was a failure.
Gee.
Everybody was like, "Oh, we ready to
Wait a minute,
So
G.
you-
Hold on.
we
Let
cooking.
me
So
add
he's-
to it.
But what happened after that
Wait a
game?
minute. Let me add to
happened
it.
after
Let
that
me
game?
So he's reached your expectations through 2 years. This is what you expect.
Let me ask
I
you-
think you picked him for 5,000 yards this year.
He didn't do
He
that.
hasn't thrown for 300 yards once.
Hey,
Not once.
Wait a minute, Bull. Listen.
Go ahead.
In that Ravens game,
Yeah.
he went 20 for 34, 213 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick.
That's a great game.
The
That's a
MVP
great game.
of the season,
Yeah.
of this year's season.
Yeah.
223 yards, 1 touchdown, 2
So
picks.
he didn't play a great
He
game that
outplayed him in that game.
Well, they didn't play against one another.
He outplayed.
Tyvus.
What do you get him for? To go up
Tyvus.
against some of the good
Tyvus.
quarterbacks.
Yeah, but those numbers are.
He outplayed the MVP. What more you want?
Are you seriously going to say?
Gee, am I wrong?
Tyvus, are
Am I
you
wrong?
seriously going to say there's a comparison between Burrow and Watson over the last 3 years? Is there any comparison?
Well,
at
one
all?
of them didn't play for the
Well,
past
that's part
3
of this,
years.
though, Tyvus. It's a big part of it for me.
You're saying why aren't they saying the Burrow thing is there?
How many-
Yeah,
how
Burrow was a
many-
disappointment because he got hurt.
how
this
many-
year.
What I'm saying, they both got paid money, and both of them hadn't played.
If the Browns, if 32 teams could get out of the Watson deal, would they? Yes or no?
We're not talking about 32
No, I'm asking,
teams.
this is what I'm talking about. I'm
if
asking
they
the question.
if they could get out of the Watson deal,
Yeah.
would they?
Yes.
Come on, Ty.
Probably.
Okay. If 32 teams could have Joe Burrow in his current deal, would anyone out? Any?
All but Kansas City would take them.
It depends on what
Nah,
he look like when he come back.
Tyvus, just answer the question.
Based on what we know so far.
Based on what we know right now.
I think he got the going rate for his contract,
So would any team want out of that deal?
I don't think so.
Okay, so that's a pretty big difference. No?
Here's what I'm saying.
The bottom line is Deshaun Watson's been a big disappointment through 2 years. I don't understand how you can argue that. It doesn't mean he won't turn it around next year. I'm not saying that he won't.
I just think it's incomplete.
I'm judging the 2 years.
He hasn't played, and if we going off of the fact that he hasn't played, then yes.
Tyvis, you got to play.
If we going off of his performance on the field, I like what I see.
His performance hasn't been that good. We expected him to be a superstar.
How many times has he thrown for 300 yards?
Come on,
0.
You expected him to be a superstar.
Hold on.
Shouldn't he have higher standards than Baker?
Hold on. The man in his first year.
So let me
hold on. 2.5 years.
Hold on. I got some.
For a year, he didn't do nothing.
In a year.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on, because I gotta wipe that smirk off his face.
I'm stunned by you guys.
I'm stunned right now. Wait a minute. Because I don't want.
Shocked at Tyvis.
How?
Because usually
I'm literally saying the facts.
No,
you're saying the fact you said he played 4 great games this
when
year.
you
That's
try
crazy.
to say
when he played, he's been well.
Tyvis, that doesn't work when he's played. Because if you trade for a guy who's expected to take you to a Super Bowl and he hasn't been on the field, that is your lead story. Your lead story about Deshaun Watson over the last 2 years is that he's been able to finish
and I understand
11 games.
I understand that part.
But
I said, if you're saying off of that alone, yes, I agree. That's what I said. I agree with that.
So which one is it?
But performance-wise,
hold on.
From the time that he's played this year,
mid's a huge jump.
It's not.
Let's talk.
It ain't terrible.
Let's talk about the standard. The standard
ain't terrible.
The standard,
you don't think the standard should be higher for Watson than Baker?
If you gonna say if you can't make the club from the tub, then why was y'all sitting there advocating for Baker Mayfield not to play when he was hurt?
I never did that.
Nobody did.
Never.
It was after the fact. No,
they
it was
did.
after
I
that.
have never
They
did
did.
that.
They was like, Baker should sit down. They put him out there was malpractice.
That's what they said. That is what they
keep throwing out
said.
stuff that you know I didn't. You know I was with you on Baker the whole time.
Boo.
You know that.
I'm not talking about Baker.
I know, but we're having the argument.
The Baker conversation is.
Well, you brought up Baker.
Because the tweet is about Baker. What I'm saying is
not that part. That part was only about Watson.
What I'm saying is boils down to, and we knew it was coming.
I see it from both sides.
It was coming. When Joe Flacco was balling, there was a segment of our population that hoped he balled so much that they was getting Deshaun up out of here.
No, that could never happen, G. We owe him too much money.
I'm talking about on the bench. We
can't pay him that to put him on the bench.
Did we not have a conversation with Joe Flacco? You asked him, could he coincide with Deshaun Watson?
Man, are we talking?
Yes.
Right, okay, hold on. Yes.
Nobody's talking about him as a starter. Nobody.
No.
Who?
Nobody.
Talking about who as a starter?
Joe Flacco.
There were fans,
yes,
but
pay
who
your
cares
backup
about that?
quarterback $60 million.
I agree with you. There were fans that thought that.
Yes, there was fans.
They were not realistic, but they were fans that thought that.
Yes, man. I'm sorry, I'm looking at some breaking news, and I can't believe this dude. But
what is it?
It's about Tristan Thompson.
We'll get to that next.
Yeah, this man is crazy.
So
dude?
then the Baker thing happens, right? Every time Baker plays well, there's going to be a comparison between him and Watson. Because national guys will say, I can't believe they gave $230 for this and pass over Baker. It's on the tweets. We see it.
Well, they are linked forever.
They're linked, right?
Because the reason that Baker's out of here is because Deshaun.
So, okay.
Yes.
The thing that we get into is this. There's not a lot of people that really rock with Deshaun Watson.
Because he's never played well.
No. Hold on.
He did. He had 2 games.
So it goes beyond that.
Good.
Yeah, he played very well.
The second half of the
It goes beyond the field,
against
guys.
the MVP.
Listen, it goes beyond the field. When you're talking about what goes on, there's people that don't like him because of the allegations.
That's a fact.
There's people that don't like him because he got that money and they think that rewarded him for being a bad person.
Yes.
That's true.
There's another group of people that never thought Baker Mayfield should have been here, and he's the reason why. There's another group of people that see Deshaun Watson as an outsider. So guess what? All of those things, they lump up into a point where you start having conversations with people about why Deshaun Watson isn't on the sideline. How come he's not out there with his teammates? How come he's out there partying? How come he's hanging out? He should be learning this playbook. All those things come because there are people who have ulterior motives about not liking that.
And there were people like me who are crapping on Baker for a number of things like that too. That's 100% true. And the bottom line is,
all of that goes away when he wins. All of it.
If Deshaun had come here and
I'm mad
played
at
great
you.
consistently, for most people,
This town would
nothing
go
else
nuts
would matter.
for him.
No, they wouldn't.
Yes, they
no,
would.
they would not.
Yes, they would.
It's still a
They
big
would root
percentage
for the
that'll be
devil
like
himself if he
no.
came in here and went
If he
17
won in the
and 0.
I don't think
playoffs,
they would.
if he played great and won in the playoffs,
with the
most people
allegations,
wouldn't care,
there's
but
no way.
I've said this, and
There's no way.
I'm on record for saying this. Deshaun Watson could be the best player in the league for 3, 4, 5 years in a row. He'll never be an MVP.
I disagree with
They
that.
will never
If he
that
is the
might
best
be a
player 3 years in a row, he will
He'll
win.
win. Look, I'm just saying, there's people.
But that's what it's going to take.
That's a lot.
But he's not going to do it with one.
That's not fair.
Unfortunately, we don't have to worry about that
At
right now.
3,
Let's hope that becomes something we have to worry
everybody's
about.
going to say, enough is enough.
And trust me, I feel like I got a good track record on this. If Deshaun Watson is trash next year or don't ball out, I'm the one who said, if you want your offensive coordinator, if you need your offensive coordinator and you want everything changed, fine, we'll give it to you. But guess what? I'm writing down that I gave you this, and that. So you better deliver me this many wins. We better be in the playoffs. We better be winning games, because if you want to be a franchise quarterback, heavy is the head that wears the crown. So you better ball out next year, and I'll say that about anybody.
Hold on, real quick. I need to talk to Jay. Is it fair for me to say that at the beginning of this season, the offense was struggling because it was still new?
I can't say that because maybe I would have said that at the time, but because he had 6 games last year, I can't keep kicking that can down the road. And here's why I can say that even less. Because Joe Flacco came in, and Joe Flacco wasn't doing anything, and Joe Flacco made this offense look as good as it's looked since Baker was here.
But
let
me ask you this:
I can't use it's new excuse.
But as we know, it's obviously been a struggle for Kevin and Deshaun to get on the same play.
I would agree.
As far as play calling goes.
Yeah,
but with Joe, it's more like, I'm gonna just run your stuff.
Yeah, but I also think what Kevin wants to run suits Joe's game.
Right. So
yeah, I would agree with that.
So now let me ask you again.
Okay.
Can I say that they struggled in the first games of the season offensively?
That's a fact.
Yes.
They did. Look at the
Yeah.
I was saying that about Deshaun struggling when you said he didn't get 300
was
plus.
Deshaun Watson.
That's why.
Was Deshaun Watson,
he was still trying to figure things out.
But Joe came in and Joe had no grasp of the offense. Deshaun's at least been in the offense for 2 years. Joe came in and was in it 1 week and looked like he was ready to go.
Year and a half.
Was Deshaun Watson a superstar?
Okay, year and a half.
Yeah.
Was he a superstar in Houston?
Yeah.
100%, right?
Yeah.
That's why when the Browns traded for him, I was through the roof going bananas.
Yeah.
Browns finally got a superstar.
Did you know he was going to get
suspended? So my
suspended?
standards, but you're right. Baker does get a pass from some people no matter what happens. Baker played well right away.
I'd say Deshaun gets a pass from some people no matter what happens.
Sure, but I think
That's not true.
I think he's getting a pass right now from a lot of people.
It is true, but I think G's right. There's a much larger group that gave Baker a pass than Watson. But I would say, and I think fairly, that my expectations when the Browns traded for Watson were way higher.
I'll give you that.
Than with Baker Mayfield, because I think Deshaun Watson is way more talented than
I
Baker
agree.
Mayfield.
I'll give you
and
that.
he was already proven.
I'll give you that.
And
all
so
I'm saying-
my expectations were through the roof.
All I'm gonna say is the Browns went 11-6 this season.
They did.
That's all I'm gonna say.
You're right. And he
But
was
the
the
only-
quarterback for a third of those games.
Trade wasn't a disaster. They went 11-6.
You know what? I'm gonna give you I'm gonna give you this.
5 games.
My final statement.
This might be anecdotal.
11-6.
I was
5 games.
I was a Giant Eagle the other day,
Yeah.
and somebody came up to me and was talking about the whole like Deshaun Watson thing or whatever. And this person said, you know, G. Bush, I just would like our fan base to get a young man an opportunity. And the way that they rallied around Joe Flacco, and the way that he was a Baltimore Raven, he
won.
Hold on, but I'm just saying. I'm saying they gave him so much love and respect. They made T-shirts for him. They didn't. When he threw interceptions, they didn't say get him up out of here and put DTR. They wrapped their arms around Joe Flacco and made him part of the city, and that turned out to be great because the team felt that.
Can I ask you this? Did he win first and then the city wrapped their arms around him, or did the city wrap their arms around him and then he won?
No, he lost his first game.
Exactly, and the city was not all in on him.
So when he
So what I'm saying is to you, and that's to my point to Deshaun Watson. I've lived here, or I've been from here.
It's not fair to say. He's 4-1.
What I've seen is the Browns will embrace anybody
He's 4-1
that does what Joe did.
He's 4-1.
Exactly. And you know what? To G's point, and this was a good point, we were all behind him after the Baltimore game. Everybody.
There was never more.
So why is it that we can get around him after the Baltimore game, but we're being accused of not being around him for the whole ball of wax?
But we have no.
You need to ask yourself that.
But we
Call out and we will help you.
You said it to me like I'm saying something wrong.
What people is wondering is, what happened between the Ravens game and he broke his shoulder to now? Where people, what new information did we get? Did he throw some picks?
But this what gets me.
No, a
Flacco looked
38-year-old
good in the
quarterback
offense.
came into the same
But
system and looked way better.
But this is what gets me.
That's what happened.
This is what gets me right now. If Deshaun Watson would have been playing in that Texas game, would they have lost like that? Or would they have won?
Well, that's not fair. He would have been rusty. I wouldn't have played him in that game.
I'm just saying. Say he after the Ravens game.
The truth is,
he wouldn't have been enough to beat
Deshaun got off to a bad start in Cleveland.
He doesn't play defense,
There's
Tyvus.
going to be people that just don't like him because of what happened off the field. And whatever you believe in that, it's not crazy to think that people are not going to like him for that.
Jay, he wouldn't have threw 2 pick sixes.
If he plays great
wouldn't have threw 2 pick
consistently,
sixes.
95% of the people will come around.
Here's what I will say.
Yeah.
That's 14
I
points
don't
less.
I don't agree with that
beat Houston.
because
I
LeBron
didn't say
James.
that.
LeBron James is
Well,
the
you asked me that.
the best
not
basketball
what I-
player in the world, and
I
there are
asked you,
still
would
people
they
in
have
this
lost
town
that bad?
that don't like the fact that he left.
Who knows? A loss is a loss. 1.20.
You heard
All right,
what you
so
wanted to
80%.
hear.
There you go.
Mike,
All right,
Mike is
all right,
Mike.
all right,
All right, let's pivot.
I'm glad you did that.
Yeah, let's go.
Right here.
Boom, we good.
Here's the question, and I just think this is fair because this will put an exclamation point on it. We've debated, we've discussed, we've yelled, we've screamed.
Yeah, it was good.
That was fun.
TBD.
Your word on his 2 seasons here has been disaster. Your word on his 2 years,
Incomplete.
and your word is?
Underwhelming.
That's very good.
I think if I had said
See what we've done? That's a very, because G. Bush,
Very
I think
mature of us.
disaster might be a little
I
hard.
think if I had said disappointing,
I do.
I think if I had said disappointing instead of disaster,
Well,
there wouldn't have been as much.
He got
fun.
100,000 views from that disaster.
The two are 2 different connotations.
Right.
Disappointing is somewhere way below disaster.
You know, listen, I speak sometimes in
but
hyperbole.
I like
with
your
my
word.
language.
Underwhelming,
Underwhelming?
honestly, underwhelming might be the most fair word because our expectations were here.
Yeah.
He missed a lot of games. Sometimes he played here, sometimes he played here.
Right.
But it was all below what we expected,
Yeah,
and
there
that
you
makes
go.
it underwhelming.
There you
Yeah.
go.
All right, Mike. Mike's got breaking news.
We actually do legitimately have some breaking
It's a
news
shame.
after a word from Game Time. If you ever had trouble finding a ticket, Game Time is here to solve all your issues because they have killer last-minute deals, all-in prices so you don't get hit with those fees on the back end. You can see the view from the seat you're trying to purchase, and their best price guarantee takes all the guesswork out of having to buy tickets. If you find a ticket in the same section or row for less, Game Time will give you a credit with 110% of the difference. It's the best and easiest way to buy tickets online, so make sure you download the Game Time app, create an account, and use promo code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, just create an account, redeem the code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last-minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. This came out during the discussion, but the Cavs are red hot. They've won 8 in a row. They can't be stopped. Except Tristan Thompson will not be in lineup for the next 25 games. He's been suspended for PED use.
Whoa.
25 games for Tristan Thompson.
You never
He's
hear
out
about
for
PEDs
PED
with basketball
use. Yes.
for whatever reason.
Because I've been told that when you fail a PED test in the NBA, you're failing an intelligence test.
I thought that was the case in all sports.
But it's really the case in the NBA. It's not. They're looking for it.
Yeah.
But they tell you when they're looking for it and what they're looking for.
Dang, he taking that body in him.
That's how they do it in the NBA.
No wonder he's been better this year.
Bro, look, hey,
That's what I'm
hold
saying.
on. I ain't gonna lie.
Been
I ain't gonna lie. Last year I saw Tristan Thompson, and when he was playing for the Kings,
Oh, he's the Lakers.
and the Lakers, that man you couldn't slide a bingo card under his feet. That man was out there looking bad. And then all of a sudden, this year, I'm like, Tristan back here, he getting a lot of rebounds. This cat is moving his feet. This how you doing in the pick and roll, Tristan? This cat was balling.
Turn back the
you
clock.
turn that back.
That's a shame.
That's crazy.
Like,
they don't never check
You gotta
nobody.
cheat, man.
Let me ask you this question because I always ask guys that spent time in NFL locker rooms this question. What percentage of players would you say use substances that are against league rules?
None.
What? That's the first time.
None.
I've asked that question of probably 300 players.
None.
It's the first time anybody has ever definitively said
you've never seen
none.
it?
Tybus, look in the camera. Look in the camera.
You know what he's honoring right now? That bro code.
We don't do that.
He's honoring that bro code.
Listen,
Look
the honor. We good. Listen, the people
look at that
everybody that I've ever played with.
There it is. Zoom
has
in.
never-
Slow zoom.
None of that.
Well,
we
some
take
people might
we
take it and
take
don't know.
team issue
There it is.
supplements. That's it.
There
so
it
if
is.
we get
That's that
banned
shot.
or
Keep
suspended,
going, Steve.
it's the team
See the
that should
sweat
go
on his
down
cheeks.
for it. And then not to say this, it's only been one person in my life that I've played with that I've actually seen fail a test. But this man was so wise that he appealed it and beat the NFL. He's the only person
that?
that's beat the NFL in a PED test. And I can't believe changed the whole system because he won. Unbelievable.
And give me the camera. Hey, let me go, camera one.
You
Hey,
believe that too? That's
No, he did.
Stump
No,
Mitchell.
you-
Ain't nobody do nothing.
Stump Mitchell.
Nobody do
That
that.
is the way it's done.
If Stump Mitchell was
That's the way it's
We don't
done,
do that.
Stump.
We
that
don't
was a
do-
master
We don't
class
do that.
Yeah.
in having
No,
people
no,
don't collect
no.
their
Stump
back.
Mitchell was wet snitching.
We don't do that. PEDs. Why would we do? We don't. We train all the time.
I ain't never-
Outside
That's
of Tristan,
natural. Straight
outside of
push-ups.
Tristan Thompson news,
Tyvus,
though,
you
the Cavs
really sold that.
put an
the truth.
absolute butt whooping on the Orlando Magic last night. That's now 8 wins in a row. They're beating teams in this 8-game win streak by an average of 22 points per game.
Yeah,
They've
that's
led
the
4
thing.
games in this 8-game winning streak where they haven't trailed for a single second.
They gonna
which is
trade-
the most
they
in
gonna
an
trade
8-game
Mobley
stretch
and
in a while.
Garland.
They're getting contributions from all over the
better be
court.
careful.
Sam Merrill's playing
Matthew
phenomenal.
would say
Jarrett Allen's double-double streak has now reached the pinnacle. He has 12 consecutive double-doubles, a new Cavs franchise record. They're playing their best basketball. And, Bull, I'll start with you because I know you said nothing in the regular season will really change your opinion of this team until the postseason rolls around. But it's 8 in a row. They're playing as good of basketball as any team in the league right now.
I mean, I'm impressed.
What does this have to reach? What does it have to get to before you're like, maybe this team is something?
I got to say I'm impressed. I'll admit that. And
But don't buy in.
But no, it doesn't change anything because they've. I hate to be a jerk about it because it is cool that they're playing. They're fun. They are fun to watch.
It's way better watching now than it
And
used to be.
some
Yeah,
of these,
I'll co-sign that.
some of these guys off the radar,
It's not
like that we didn't
stressful.
really
Right.
think about, that only G. Bush had his eye on before the season, have really
smoking
like the Cavs traditionally
Look at that.
have been awful at developing players out of nowhere, and finally this year they've done that.
Yeah, I know it.
Like you got 2 guys out of nowhere that are contributing in a nice way, but I can't help but think, well, it's mostly been against terrible teams. Giannis didn't play for the Bucks.
I counter the terrible teams with this. Even though the average margin of victory is, what'd you say, 22?
Yeah.
In most of those games, the starters played very little in the fourth quarter.
They have rested a ton of guys late.
If they were in those games to play as hard as they needed to, they could. Their average margin of victory could have been what it was against the Bucks, which was 40 points.
But does this streak make you think they have any better a chance of beating Boston or Philly or Milwaukee or even the Knicks when it matters?
Now when Embiid dropping 70 points. First of all, let me get that camera for a second.
had 70?
Hit 70 points last night. Let me
He did.
let me
Go
see
to the
that.
record.
Let me
It's
see
a
that camera.
76ers record.
Because now that we talking about Cavs, this is the person I need to talk to. Jared Allen. Listen, you done. You ain't getting on my parlay ever again. I can't believe you couldn't.
Guy's
get,
been great.
You couldn't get one more point for me. I know you don't care about my
that hurts
parlay,
your soul,
but I needed
bro.
one more point. I would have took $10 and made it $1,400. But you
That's
decided to get instead of getting 15, you decided to get
1
14.
point
1
away
point
from
away.
winning for winning.
So yeah,
my
you're done.
God, paid
anyways,
for a stressful fourth
anyways, you've been remarkable. Listen, I love what the Cavs have been doing outside of you messing me up not getting 15 points last night. I love what the Cavs have been doing. I mean, listen, you think about where this team was. It was at the point, we got to trade Mitchell. Donovan's like, I don't know what's going on. We had the JB should be fired talks. And it seems to me we got guys that's starters that's not even in the lineup. Darius, Evan, guys that we thought we needed to win games, and they haven't been in the lineup. And for a while it was shaky, but this team has figured out how to play off of each other. And you got to give them a ton of credit for that because that's hard to do on the fly, especially with chaos going on with all of this disinterest and all of these stories being written about stuff. It's so hard to lock in and just go to work every day.
So do they
and
win a
just-
playoff series?
Yeah. Well, do they win a playoff series? I mean, ultimately, I think I need to see how this team responds when the other two come back.
That is the elephant in the
That's
room.
going to be the thing.
How do they change their play when Mobley and Garland come
They're
back?
gonna win a playoff match, and I thought I would never say that. I think they're gonna win the first round matchup.
So this recent play has changed your opinion on that?
I got to see the other two.
And
But what are you going to do with Mobley and Garland?
McNuggets can
bench.
chime in on this. The reason why I think that these guys can play this way is because this is the new wave. And the Cavs have been so resistant to join the fray of saying we need one big and 3, 4, 5 shooters and jack it up 10 jumpers.
Evan Mobley better be shooting threes.
And now what you see is you getting guys like Dieng, career high. I seen Dean Wade shoot 10 threes, and they gave him the green light. Sam Merrill, I told you, listen, Merrill Lynch is out here giving y'all that financial business right now. He's shooting all kind of threes right now.
Give the man a raise.
That man is killing. Look at that.
He
8 of 13.
Threes last night.
McNuggets, out of curiosity, how tall is Max Strus?
6'5",
6'5".
Oh, is he that tall?
And how tall is Sam Merrill?
6'3".
I would have had Strus at about 6'3" or 6'4".
I thought he was 6'3". No,
I didn't think he was that big.
The only reason I asked, in all seriousness, when Garland and Mobley come back,
Somebody got to come off the bench.
they both coming off the bench, and they coming off the bench after Sam Merrill. I'm not even kidding you. No, I'm dead serious. Because what you finding out is you can't run with the 2 small guards. You got a small guard and you got at least a 6'5" guy. So you finally not doing the 2 small guards thing. You win it. You realize that we need another shooter instead of 2 bigs, and you finally win it.
Hey.
I wouldn't touch it. I bring him right off the
At the
bench.
end of the game, you're not going to have Garland and
Nah.
you're not going to have these guys in
I
together.
don't know.
Listen,
I don't know how I feel.
these two been playing together for almost 2 seasons, and they ain't figured it out yet. Garland and Donovan.
Yeah.
They haven't figured it out yet. So why would I? Now it seems like we finally got something going. You don't touch that.
This dude, listen, I watched this game and I ain't gonna lie. It reminded me of
Especially if they beat the Bucks in a couple of days.
The deflating way that they was hitting them threes reminded me when the Cavs was playing the Warriors and they would pull up from half court and it was just going in. These dudes was playing around, man. Listen, Merrill, it should be in a 3-point shootout. Donovan Mitchell is actually a better point guard than I thought he would be.
Yeah, he get like 8 assists.
And Jared Allen,
last night.
Jared Allen
Yeah,
has been my comeback player of the year because Jared Allen was almost on his way up out of here. And not only am I saying he's balling, but I'm saying, well, Mobley, we don't know if you're going to be the big and the 1-4 out. We don't know.
And the crazy thing is, I'm a Darius Garland apologist. That's my favorite player.
I love Darius.
And I'm bringing him off
I
the
do
bench.
too.
I am.
It's funny.
know you're gonna start though, right?
I asked 2 weeks ago about a
start.
trade,
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
everybody, I think I drew you guys.
Yeah, I
drew
said
blood
I
on
would.
set.
I don't want to trade.
Well, the
him.
Cavaholics
That's
were
my
mad
favorite
about
player. I
that.
wouldn't want to trade.
What's
him.
that?
The Cavaholics were mad about
They were
that.
very
But I'm
upset.
definitely bringing him off the bench. Until the chemistry's
my point
bad.
in asking the question, do you make a trade? I don't think you can trade Garland because we don't know about Mitchell.
Yeah.
But I said at the time, I go to Donovan Mitchell and I say, here's our plan. We have figured out that we're at our best with one of the two. We want the one to be you. You sign our extension right now, we trade Darius Garland and get you more pieces to win a championship here. You refuse it, we trade you now, and Garland is our guy moving forward. On the Mobley front, I said, is it worth investigating what you could get for this guy? Everybody seems to think he's going to be the guy that delivers us a championship. He'd better.
Yeah, the diehard Cavs fans think it's the dumbest thing ever to trade Mobley. Mike, you're the
Mike does too.
you
Mike
think-
doesn't
Mike
like the
does so
idea.
too. So maybe
I ain't
they might
saying
be
trade
right.
I'm not
nobody.
trading
You
Mobley.
know what? I do want to see what they do against Milwaukee at full strength in a few days.
Yeah.
I do want to see that.
McNuggets-
That to me will be a great
Is
test.
Giannis going to play or is he
Yes,
going
he's
to
going to
around?
play.
Yeah, he
oh,
gonna
no,
play.
he'll
It's,
play.
it's tomorrow
McNuggets-
night, too. They play twice in 3 days. They
Yes,
play
and
Wednesday
he will
Friday.
play.
McNuggets, is it asinine for them to come off the bench?
Who, Mobley?
Mobley and Garland?
Hey,
Garland's going to start for sure.
look, I told
no
you,
way there.
Garland's starting next shot.
I like it.
Mobley, though, there is okay, I'm going to go forward real quick.
Sure.
Their defensive rating since December 15th when those
Yep.
two went out is first in the NBA.
I know it is.
Part of the reason they've been so good defensively is with just the one big, they switch everything.
Right.
And let's give Isaac Okoro all the credit.
I agree
he
with
has
that.
taken a massive step. You take 251 full here. Just a little testament to his range. Last week he was the primary defender on Dame Lillard, held him 8 points under his average. We know Dame point guard scoring extraordinaire. Last night he was the primary defender on Paolo Banchero, a center.
Yep.
He guards 1 through 5. He's the ultimate.
And
Swiss
how
Army
many guys
knife
can
on
do that?
Defense. Very few held Banchero to 18 points below his shooting percentage, below his season average. when they have Mobley and Garland back, Okoro's not in the lineup, and Max Strus is the guy drawing those assignments. Max Strus' defensive resistance is not comparable. Strus isn't a bad defender.
No, I was going to say I don't see
He's
him as
fine.
a bad defender, but he's not in
He's not
Okoro's-
Okoro.
No.
And having Okoro in the starting lineup has helped them unlock other things defensively and offensively. They still don't guard him, and he's not a great shooter, but he's making threes at a level he wasn't last year. So he's not a complete zero.
He is a threat to shoot the
offensively.
ball, so you can't leave him
Right.
completely alone.
Mike, let me ask you this: how many minutes when Mobley was playing? How many minutes was he playing per game, and how many minutes was Allen playing per game? Do you know?
This
Like,
season, so it's not going to be perfect because I can't sort it that quickly. But Allen on the year, 30.2 minutes, and Mobley was 33.6.
So there's a lot of minutes where they're on the floor together.
Yeah.
Yes.
And what we have, and sometimes this happens. I think what the Cavs have stumbled upon, this was an unintended consequence of an injury, of two key injuries. What they have stumbled upon was what I was begging JB to do in the playoffs. I was actually begging him to do it in March and April. Mess around with your combinations. Figure out what is your best combination. He didn't do it in March. He didn't do it in April. They were done. They did it this year only because Mobley and Garland got hurt. And what we have discovered, and it's a small sample size, and I will give you that, and I'm very curious to see how that holds up against Milwaukee. But I'm going to say this. If they, by some weird freak miracle, beat Milwaukee the next two games, my mind is solidified. This is it.
Well,
This is our best combination.
When is Darius coming back?
So
They pushed him back a little bit.
Yes,
yeah, so
it was-
Darius, actually don't know if I can say that. Scratch the record. Just go.
Okay.
Well, when's Mobley supposed to be back?
What is out there? What is
Who's coming
the
back?
Information that
Who's
is
coming
available?
back first?
Garland's jaw is still wired shut.
It is.
So he.
So
Can,
what's Mobley's status, Mike?
Mobley's still at least a month away.
All right, but let me ask you this. I know this is not, teams don't really do this, but you're saying they're both averaging about 30 minutes. Well, Allen was probably averaging less.
Allen's touches went up 40 per game,
Right.
according to your buddy.
But yeah, right.
That's stunning to me.
But let me ask you this, Mike. You play 48 minutes in a game. Is it crazy to think that both guys could play roughly 24 minutes a game?
I don't think it is.
And they never play at the same time? Is that insane?
It's theoretically not insane, but Mobley's not the one center guy that Allen is right now. Like
I agree
and I
with
think
that.
we saw that last year. Allen is the perfect, legitimate center to do that. Mobley's he's not a great
Now,
point
Mike,
of
let me
attack
ask you
defender
this.
yet.
The general consensus is he will not only be that guy, but he'll be better. His ceiling is higher than Allen's. I
Yes.
think that's fair.
Yes.
But here's my problem with that. At what point does the ceiling start to fall? How much do we need to see
It's-
from him
It's
before
already,
we say,
it's
he's
already
not
falling.
him?
It's already falling.
It has for me, too.
Wemby came in and it fell quick. I'm like, oh, that's what that looked
Well,
like.
he's a different breed.
You got Chet Holmgren.
Chet Holmgren
You
looked
got guys
different.
that
Yeah, you know,
do
you're
different
right.
things, yeah.
That looked
And the
different.
the thing with Mobley and Bull, and you've heard Jason say this, in a perfect world, Mobley's the center. But what has Jason Lloyd, who sat on this panel 100 times, said? In his mind, he's the Kevin Durant. He's a 3.
Oh, no.
Well, you can't have a 3
Ooh.
playing Mobley, which was what they drafted him. That's what the Cavs had hoped to turn
Hey,
him
y'all
into.
cut it out.
Go
Have we
back.
drug
And that's not
tested
even
Jason
fair to
Lloyd?
Mobley.
Cut it out.
Go back and
Mobley,
watch
I think he's
Kevin
very
Durant.
fast over his
Yeah.
Down.
Yeah, Durant was shooting like that at
Texas.
Why would it hurt? Would it hurt? It's the regular season. Why not try and see how the team would work when Mobley comes back with not playing?
I agree.
Maybe a couple of minutes here and there, but for the most part, playing them separately and seeing if Mobley you said he can't play that role the same way. Well, maybe he can. If he knows it's going to be a regular thing, maybe he'd be better at it.
Here's the
Why
thing.
not try it?
Here's the thing. It's just like Darius Garland with Colin Sexton.
Yeah.
That person feels like they're a max player. And when you got young guys, now I think Mobley is a humble guy, don't say much. I think he's a good kid. I've not seen
I think
nothing.
they all are.
I have not seen anything that would say they would be disruptive. However, I know for a fact that Colin Sexton's agent was like, oh no, we're not taking a backseat to Darius Garland. Like, we feel he scores 24 points in a game. Like, he's a max dude.
He's
got him up
he's
out of
played
here, too.
really well.
And
this
so
season.
they got him
Colin
up out of
has.
there and went. Now Mobley What if he says, bro, look, I'm a max player. I'm a unicorn.
And he
I'm
wants to get
come
his
off the
rookie
bench."
max, too.
What'd you say?
He wants to get his rookie max. To this point of his career, Evan Mobley has not made significant life-changing money yet.
No, but it's
If
coming.
I'm the team, I don't
It's
care
coming.
about
Yeah,
that.
but it's
though.
coming
But
if
I
he
guess,
plays the way
you
we
know.
think he can, not if he becomes a
I'm with
six-man.
Bull. I wanted them to do this last year. I was begging for let's change things up. What are your rotations going to be? We got in the playoffs, and it looked like it was a pop quiz to him.
I mean, you know,
Let's figure out what we have, and this is a great opportunity to do it. Even when they come back, I still want to see mixing and matching with guys. I do agree that they put their foot in it with not put their foot in it. That makes it seem like they had no idea what they were doing. Sam Merrill, sometimes you step in it and you're like, oh, wow. The whole thing with Sam Merrill is he became
He's been a find.
look over the glasses.
he is so much more than everybody except G thought he was going to be.
I think Mike liked him too. Wasn't
Mike did
also?
like him. I remember you liked him.
Yeah,
and
he could
Porter.
play. He could play, yeah.
And but to me,
I mean,
Merrill,
43%.
this is
He's shooting 9.5
astonishing.
threes a game, too.
For teams to win a championship, by the way, I do think that you need something like that to happen.
Yes, you do.
Never traditionally done
No, they
that.
haven't.
Yeah.
Paxson, Kerr. You need guys like that. You need guys like that.
His 3-point percentage is barely below his field goal percentage, right?
It's because he only shoots threes.
Yeah, he
but
does. Last night he was 8 of 13
8 of
from the
13.
floor.
All we
He
need-
was 8 of 13 from 3-point range.
All we missing is Amani Bates.
we
Hey,
fired up.
we got some
You
great
already got
roasts of
suspended,
G
right?
chat
Yeah.
He
here.
in detention right now.
We're going to get to super chats because I want to make sure we get a chance to read
Timeout.
some of these roasts of G. So some of these are roasts. I'm going to save those for the end. I'm going to get through the regular super chats, then we'll go to the roasts. Charles T said, Stump's biggest regret should be leaking to the media. Why is he doing a press run as an RB coach? You can't trust him. He's done in the NFL. Charles T also said, does Deshaun's 4 wins not help Browns make the playoffs this year?
They did.
Did Watson beating the Ravens not help us make the playoffs? You guys are
did.
all out of pocket.
Well,
Hey, don't say all.
By saying that means that another quarterback couldn't have won those 4 games. Now, you could argue
They couldn't.
that the Ravens game,
Except
who knows?
PJ.
Those other 3 games, Watson, almost any quarterback could have beaten the Titans or the Cardinals in those situations. Sure.
Except
you
for
didn't
the
need
Dolphins.
Deshaun
Except
Watson.
for the
Hey, let me run through these so
Well,
we
his
get
win
to the
against
roast.
the Cardinals was against a quarterback that will never see the field again in
Probably,
the NFL.
yeah.
Let me run through these so we get to the roast because the roasts are really good. Derek Waldmiller says, everybody want to talk about Deshaun's contract, but not the fact we're paying JJ3 and Jed Wills $25 million next year and
Yeah,
Jack
we've talked
Conklin a
plenty about
legacy
that.
contract.
The quarterback's more important. That's stupid.
Sly
That's a bad
says
take.
Watson didn't get the chance to play cupcakes. Flacco and Baker got this year to play.
Wait,
to pad their
Arizona was
stats.
Played Arizona and Tennessee.
Tennessee. Cupcakes.
Charles said Jay argues for Baker. He says wins and loss the only stat that matters with Watson. Now it's
And if
300
Watson-
Phil Walker's the best.
By the way,
Yes.
let me tell you something with 150% certainty. All the people that keep bringing up Deshaun Watson's record, if Deshaun Watson had played outstanding, but the Browns had a bad record in those games because the defense sucked, they would be making the exact opposite argument.
Well, like
Yeah,
you
you
always
know
say.
that's true.
Oh,
Well,
Hey,
what's
hey,
not,
Choose the
course.
evidence that has
what's not fair is they not arguing for Philip then.
I got some more. Hold on.
Thank God they're
Bleezy
not.
Baby says, here's how to look at the Watson trade. We paid a premium to have a guy for 5 years. That gives us a chance to make the playoffs. Without Watson, name the percentage chance the Browns make the playoffs each year until 2027.
Depends on the quarterback.
The Browns, I
Levi-
think the Browns would have made the playoffs without that trade this year.
Levi Luce says Watson trade as of right now is a disaster. Availability has
And
to
that's
play
what
a
you were
role.
saying.
No more rust excuses. Trade was for a Super Bowl, not a playoff spot. Daryl says no more fire JB rants for now. Go Cavs. UCS is awesome. Love you guys. And R-Max
Love you, D.
Dog says, do y'all agree that the Cavs and Browns gave up too much to acquire Mitchell and Watson? And anything less than a championship will require these teams to salvage the best economic move possible.
Yes.
Okay, here are the roasts.
That's a good one.
Eddie says, G looks like if Captain America and Black Panther had a baby. Wakanda forever.
That's good.
Jeffrey Clyburn says, G looks like he teaches karate at a strip mall.
Remember the karate teacher in Napoleon Dynamite?
That's
Yes.
two. You got two for
Vernell,
two.
we got a bunch of these. Vernell Jackson says, G Bush, you look like the Kung Fu Panda right now. Kool-Aid Mafia in the building.
Good one.
Let me pull up the next one from production team. Evan419 says, when you have a show at 11 but got to storm the Capitol by 2.
Crazy. That's crazy. That shut it down.
That's the winner.
That shut it down. Oh my
That's
God.
the winner right there.
That shut it down.
Oh, my God.
That is the winner
Oh,
right there.
my God.
It's going to be hard to get that
Oh,
one.
you can't top that.
Should we read the rest or should we end it with
No,
that?
no, no. I mean,
Okay, we'll read that one at the end again. Vernell Jackson says, G looks like an MC at Rucker Park. Earl the
baby.
Pearl says, G looks like Tony Montana at the beginning of Scarface when he first touched down in the U.S.
He did have the sweatsuit.
Yeah, he did.
Vernell also says, Garrett Electric Boogaloo Bush. Scott Zappa says, don't hate G just because he's beautiful.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm loving it. I don't hate it.
And Tequila Mockingbird said, G looks like a helicopter pilot on Magnum P.I.
Yes, PC.
Yes,
that was PC, baby. Yeah.
It was. Rest in
we-
peace.
He's
do we
dead.
agree,
I
though,
believe
the
he
winner-
died recently. Yeah.
The winner of the roast,
Island
though,
hoppers.
I do think is when you got to show at 11, but got to storm the Capitol. by
That
I
was
do too.
crazy.
I do too.
Evan
But I
419
also
with the win.
That's
honorable mention
crazy.
was he looks like the 6th member of the Village People.
Yeah,
that was the
directed
first
by-
time.
That was the first thing
I also love the mall karate.
The
teacher.
mall karate
and the
teacher's
Kung
fire.
Fu Panda.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
By the way, there's a new Kung Fu Panda movie coming out this year for the
Much
first time
better
in like a
roast
decade.
today than last time we asked for roast. So thank you guys for stepping your game
Two
up.
things.
Phenomenal roast.
AVP is interviewing for the OC job with the Raiders, and the Chargers.
AVP is?
Yeah, and the Chargers is nearing the deal with Jim Harbaugh.
Wow.
Ooh, wow.
We got a football overtime today, by the way. We didn't get to the chances the Browns host a playoff game. Andrew Berry mentioned yesterday.
One
That's
other
what we're gonna
thing
do
that
for
Bull
overtime.
pointed out, I think, or maybe it was you, that what the hell kind of universe are we living in where the Ohio State Buckeyes have spent more money on their football players this offseason than our Cleveland Guardians?
Oh,
We're
without a
gonna
doubt.
save it for tomorrow. We're gonna do that topic tomorrow
That
because we didn't get
I
to
am
it today.
gutted.
It's
I
disgusting.
am gutted like a fish at that fact.
Go Bucks.
I'm happy for one. I'm disgusted at the other.
All you can say, go Bucks.
We'll see you.
See you in
On
overtime.
overtime.